We're looking.
Well, it says that we're good.
You're good.
I've been told that a lot.
You're not good, Don.
Not
You're
by
great.
anybody in this room.
You've been writing it on bathroom walls for years, haven't you?
You're a Hall of Famer.
Men's room walls.
Just saying.
No adjectives like stunning.
And Buc-ee's keeps washing it off.
I know. They do have clean restrooms.
I don't go to Buc-ee's.
No?
I'm just teasing. Of course I do. Who
Buc-ee's
doesn't?
is awesome.
Who doesn't go to Buc-ee's?
The non-Bucky people.
And then you wind up going to a non-Buc-ee's restroom and you go, ooh,
Yes, totally.
it's like
Even if it's halfway decent, it's still ooh.
it is.
Yes, you
I'll
gotta
never
get-
forget the Shamrock station near the intersection of South Post Oak and Main Street. It had to have been the nastiest restroom I've ever been in.
And how often did you go?
Not very often. Only when I absolutely had to. On my bicycle, because I was too far away from home and needed to go. Oh, my gosh. Nasty restrooms. I'm sure everybody's got a story about that.
I can't remember. I can't recall any.
No?
I can't recall.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Including
It's the
yourself.
N-Wheel Time Car Show, and we are about ready to go live here for our 3-hour extravaganza. And we thank you for joining us today. Mr. Mars is in the doghouse, and we'll fill you in on that later.
What?
Mars lives.
You wouldn't believe.
Oh, I would believe.
Yeah, you would believe.
So he brought a new
I
wire of some
believe.
kind.
I believe.
So let's just do this thing, shall
Okay.
we? All right.
It's 8 a.m.
It's the N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. School is back. You and your kids still undecided. We talk car education. We do the British drive on the wrong side. Why do the British drive on the wrong side of the road? Why? Why is that?
I have no idea.
Well, we're going to tell you, Conrad. Strap it on.
It'd
sit
be
back.
different if they left the steering wheel on the other side, and then you're furthest away. But not only do they drive on the wrong side, they move the steering wheel, so in a head-on collision, both steering wheels hit each other.
We're going to get all that straightened out this morning.
That ought to be fun because Jeff's going to try to delve into
Inform
that.
us.
Later, we're going to find out about the GM Student Corporation. Did you know
Core.
that?
Oh, wow.
Core. Oh, Core. Yes, that's
Core.
right. It's still spelled Core.
CORPS.
Corpse?
Core. Student Core. Pretty cool program GM's running. Been running it now for 10 years. And we'll have actually a friend of mine and former boss, Larry Heiss, will come on. He's kind of one of the
Is
lead
he the one that
guys.
fired you?
Whoa, you got friends?
No, he wasn't the one that fired me. That'd be a great question. No, he was not the one who fired me.
Can I ask him that question?
Oh, sure.
Okay, good.
Because he'd probably say yes and take credit for
Same
it.
guy fired him.
Plus, we're also going to have the stories making automotive news headlines this week, along with Conrad's Car Clinic. So straight ahead on this edition of the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zeke, and I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us. Where are you going, Mr. Mars?
Close
You
the
going to
door.
shut the door?
Yeah, Suze came in.
Yeah.
Sue's come in, Sue's come out.
No, is she in here?
No, she's
somewhere?
outside.
Oh, she's
She just
outside.
went out.
All right.
She'll be scratching at the door any moment.
Well, very good.
So was Mike.
What's the problem? Did you start this? No, I did not. But I thank you for telling me because I wasn't.
So this one we can blame on Mars, but it's actually Don's fault.
No, it's not.
Well,
No.
Mars figured it out.
We're going to blame it on Mars, whether it's his fault or not.
Jeez.
I know. Well, go over there and sit down. It's,
golly.
it's working now.
Golly,
I'm
no.
sorry, I forgot. I was
Preoccupied,
needless to
talking
say.
about dirty bathrooms at the Shamrock.
Do they still have Shamrock stations?
Yeah,
Do they?
I think so.
In Ireland.
You know.
They're all Valeros.
Oh, okay.
They converted them.
But they haven't cleaned the bathrooms.
No, they haven't done that. But they changed the name to protect the innocent.
Yeah.
This segment's sponsored by Valero.
Well, I hope that somebody at least went in there with a little Clorox or something. Anyway.
Pressure washer.
Well, this is a great lead-in, isn't it?
Sure.
This is a great lead-in to our first guest of the morning. His name is Hugh Mann, and he is the department chair of Houston Community College Automotive Diesel and Auto Body Programs. And I'm sorry for the rude and not polite, thing that we've got going on here. So will you forgive me?
That's okay. I spent plenty of years in the shop. I'm used to it.
Okay. I'm sure.
Yeah, I've been in some shops that have had bathrooms way worse than a Shamrock.
So I know that school is back in session for a lot of people, and if it's not, it's going to be back this week or next. And based on my experience, Mr. Procrastination here, I've got the actual trophy to prove it. You know, we talk about school and going back to school, and I don't want to go back to school, but I need to go back to school. I need a profession. What am I going to do? Well, I don't know what the enrollment like right now is in this program at HCC, but I would imagine that there are probably a lot of last-minuters that are going to go, well, you know what? I like cars. I like working on cars.
I like trucks.
I like trucks, SUVs. I like all of it.
Huge demand in the industry for their students.
Yeah.
Because there's such a lack of skilled technicians, whether it's at the body shop level, at the automotive technician level, or at the fleet diesel truck level. Is that what you find, Hugh?
Absolutely. Yeah. Right now, I haven't found a shop yet that hasn't been looking for good quality technicians from entry level all the way to experienced and master technicians. It's there's always a need for it. I always tell students, if you're in this industry and don't have a job, it's because you don't want one.
No, that's
always
a
somewhere
fact.
to go to work.
Yeah, that's a fact. And I find a lot of shops are willing to take that entry-level student, that entry-level technician, and build them into what they want, because in some instances, the entry-level technician doesn't have the bad habits of the skilled, experienced one, and they tend to be a little bit cheaper to employ as well. But, pay level can be pretty significant as a technician, depending on your skill sets.
Yeah, it can be. Obviously, a lot of shops advertise positions where they're when they post positions. A lot of times it's their wish list. They want somebody with 3 to 5 years experience or more, and have all their tools, and and someone that they can put out to work and not have to worry about. But I tell students all the time, apply for all the jobs, because you know what? They may not be getting enough. They may not be getting any applicants. Somebody that's got 3 to 5 years experience, and then they're gonna take whatever technician they can get to fill the position. Always looked at their postings as their wish list, not necessarily what they would hire.
And with that in mind, the more they do that and they advance in that particular criteria of what they're applying for, it gives them more opportunity for advancement.
Absolutely correct.
Now we're talking about going into. Is it a 2-year plan or is it a 4-year plan?
At HCC.
I would say at ACC, in the automotive technology, we do offer a AAS, or an Associate of Applied Science, which is a full 2-year associate degree, as well as we offer a full 1-year certificate, and then we have a smaller certificate. Now, when we say 1 year, we're workforce, we're vocational. That means 12 calendar months. When the academic side says 1 year, that basically means spring and fall semester. So, by saying our associate's degree is 2 years, that's 2 spring and 2 fall semesters. We teach all summer long. So if you go all the way through the summer, you can be done in a year and a half with the associate degree.
And then what about on the diesel side of things, the heavy-duty side?
Diesel side, we also have a level 1 certificate, which is a 12-month or 1-year certificate. It's 3 semesters. Again, you can finish in 12 months. And then our auto body program, and again, a level 1 certificate. It's a little bit shorter. You can complete the entire auto body in 10.5 months.
And on the auto body side, does that teach them the metal side and the paint side, or do you differentiate the 2 classes?
No, it's total. It's structural repair, body work, steel, frame straightening, all the way through prep work, dent pulling, plastic welding, regular welding, and into the refinishing side.
How does this differentiate your programs with the ones that people see on TV? That they advertise on like the motor channels and things that go to college, become a painter, and things of that nature. How does that different?
I believe most of the ones you're referring to are more private corporations, and the biggest difference is price. Us being a public school,
significant
the price
differences,
is significantly lower
Yeah.
than these private corporations. Not that it's not a good education. The education's there. A lot of times these private schools and us, we're using the same curriculum. We're using the same textbooks. A lot of times the difference is the speed at which they progress through subjects or progress through classes compared to us. We go at a little slower speed, and then because us being a public school, it's a lot cheaper.
Okay, so let me use this example. Me, for instance, was working at a car dealership in the new car make-ready department, doing a little bit of everything, mainly make-ready new cars. But, if the floor needed sweeping, whatever the case may be, I worked there for a couple of years, loved it, still really didn't have a direction, and wasn't making enough money when I got promoted, if you want to call it that, to service advisor. Yeah, I bruised a lot of bruised ego going on there after I got into service writing. But what would you suggest for somebody like me? I don't recall programs, I'm sure there were, offered right out of high school where I could work and also go to school.
Yeah, other than the last 30 years since I've been around, I'm not sure of the structure of the programs prior to that. But my recommendation is, if you're working in that situation and you like it and you want to progress in it, absolutely you need to find you a VOTEC program, find you an automotive training program. There's ACC is not the only one out there. There's other ones. They all offer a little something different. All the schools try to do it their own way in some aspects, and whether you want a full 12-month one-year certificate, or again, like I said, we have a smaller one-year certificate that's a maintenance and light repair that's only just over two semesters. So it's basically you can finish it in about 9 months. And it's just the only difference in that one and the other one is it doesn't go into some of the more advanced. It doesn't go into transmissions and
Electrical diagnostics and stuff. It is purely a maintenance tech.
Right, correct. More maintenance, light repair, brakes, suspension. But any of those you can go to. If you've already been in a dealership, you've already figured out a way around the shop, or how the industry works to some extent from a lower level. It's just going to help you progress a little faster. It's going to help you retain the information faster and easier. The biggest difference I see in students is students who come in who their dad worked on cars in the driveway, or their uncle or dad had a shop and they've been hanging around, raised that way, around it a little bit, versus kids who've never been around it at all. The ones who've already got a little touch of it, a little taste of it, they tend to catch on a little quicker, advance a little faster. But anybody can do it. Anybody can learn it if the will is there.
Do you have a high percentage of placement once they graduate?
Absolutely. We tend to say we have 100% placement for graduates, and that's because the capstone or the final course they have to take is a co-op course where they're working in the industry. They're required to have a job in the industry in order to take that last course, which is a full semester, 16-week course. And then obviously once they're done, they graduate. Sometimes it's difficult to stay with them to see if they stay in the industry or if they move on. Now, students who don't graduate, they may be working out there in the industry, and they may not. As far as placement opportunities, again, they're unbelievable. We have employers calling us every day.
Because it's such a high demand job, whether it's an automotive tech, a diesel, heavy-duty diesel tech or a body shop guy. There are every shop virtually is looking for a technician at some level. Everybody would like to have that fully certified A tech, but those are few and far between, and they're going to pay dearly for them. And I know some of your graduates that have come through your program that are still here in Houston have reached some pretty upper levels of management. I believe it's Helfman, CDJR there at I-10 and Beltway 8. Their shop foreman or service manager actually come out of the HCC program.
610, isn't it?
610, yeah. 610. It's not just a matter of turning wrenches, because once you get into the shop, you get options of what direction you want to go. Don was talking about being a service advisor, being a technician. As you skill up as a technician, the opportunity to be a shop foreman and stuff.
Well, that brings to mind, but not only the hands-on, the mechanical and electrical and the body work of it. Are there courses to get into the management side, the F&I side?
Well, F&I is over in sales department.
Well, I mean, yeah, but so far as the courses at ACC, do they kind of groom you in a direction?
We do in the aspect of entrepreneurial spirit. We're always talking about guys are always wanting to run their own shop, so we're always talking in that aspect. We do have a class that's for service writing or service consultant to help open their eyes and show them a little side of that. And then when we get into the co-op specifically, we spend a lot of time in the co-op, talking about getting jobs, talking about areas that you can go to work, and that you can advance throughout the industry. I tell my students all the time, you get into turning a wrench or becoming a technician, you may not want to do it forever. You like it now. As you get 10, 15 years down the road, it may not be quite as appealing to you. There's other areas to go. There is the service writing, there's service management. There goes into guys go into parts and become parts managers. Again, they run their own shop. Or you can even go into the training aspect, go into the training department within the company you work for. And sooner or later, somebody's got to teach the young kids. We're always needing instructors. I can't keep enough instructors most of the time. And when I need one, you can't get an instructor to come out of the field because there's too much business and too much money to be made out in the field working in these shops. So there's always places to go. A lot of guys continue on with a bachelor's degree once they start working in a shop and move up. The head guy at Love's Truck Centers started as a technician. The head president of Love's Truck started as a mechanic and worked his way all the way up through the company to run the company. So, the stories out there like that are endless. There's always places to go.
Well, the other thing that I wanted to bring up is the fact that, once you immerse yourself into an education, and you may have a 1 or 2 year degree, if you're inclined to maybe work in the racing field, I knew several guys that came in on the bottom level of an NHRA top fuel team as parts washers. Mm-hmm. And he was just as important as the other guy. Somebody had to fill that position. And these guys typically move their way up through the ranks on a top fuel dragster team, of which there are somewhere between, a dozen of them, basically around a dozen guys that work on a top fuel dragster team. And so if you're inclined to travel a lot, mm-hmm. and work your butt off, on something like that
for low pay,
but you get to see the world in every Motel 6 in America. I mean, it's that's out there for you too.
It sounds like in-wheel time progress.
It does sound like in-wheel time progress. How many campuses do you have teaching this course?
We have 2 campuses. Our primary or main location is at Airline and 45, what we are called our Automotive Technology Training Center, and we offer all 3 programs at that location, full programs, automotive, heavy vehicle, diesel, industrial, and the auto body collision. And then our second location is our North Forest location. It's on the corner of West Little York and Homestead. It's a nice location. It's brand new, 15 bays, all brand new equipment, tire machines, alignment machines. It's all air conditioned shop over there. That one we're still growing and expanding. at that location and filling it up, but it's our second location. We don't have enough room there to teach the entire automotive program. Of course, we don't hold the auto body or the heavy vehicle diesel over there. But the automotive program just is over there, and it's expanding at that location.
So there's no age requirement. You could be 18, 19 years old, or you could be, a little older.
80.
Men and women. This is just, there's this open, correct?
Oh, absolutely. I think 17 or 18 is the minimum, or high school level, and they go anywhere from there. I mean, I've had a student that was a biology teacher from San Jac, and he bought a sailboat, so he wanted to learn how to work on the diesel engine that was his backup in his sailboat. So we have all kinds of students, age-wise, background, demographics, and another area that I personally have tried to focus on since I've been in this position, and that is partnering with the high schools and the public schools and offering dual credit opportunities for students while they're in high school. So while they're going through their automotive program in high school, they're getting college credit. So when they come to us after high school, they don't have to take the whole one-year program. They've already got part of it out of the way, much like what they do with English and math and college-level academic classes. We're doing the same thing with the automotive program that helps students get in and out faster so they can get out in the real world and start making a living.
And some of the high school programs are pretty in-depth as well, so it's good that you're taking that feed from them.
So
there's some out there that are 2-year, start as a junior. Some of them go in as a sophomore. 3-year high school program.
Cool.
Well, one last question before we let you go, and that is, how's the football team doing?
Ours isn't very good that I'm aware of.
I just thought I'd throw that out there. I mean,
football season, yeah.
Alabama's coming to play Texas. I just figured HCC's probably got a foot in the door there somewhere.
I don't think they have a sports team.
I just thought I'd throw it out there and ended it kind of on a light note. Hugh, it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us
Very
today.
much so.
Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
Yep.
You bet. Take care. All right.
You too.
Cool.
And I've posted their website on our social
You
media.
didn't find
as well.
that funny, did you?
I wasn't too sure where you were going with that. It was hilarious, Don. We laugh at you all the time.
I know that. Yeah. What did Don do this week? Okay. Time now for the In-Wheel Time racing calendar.
Well, NHRA next weekend, this is the big go at Indy, the U.S. Nationals. And then after that, the 15th through the 18th of September is Maple Grove Raceway. And then the 23rd through the 25th is ZMAX Dragway. NASCAR, what'd you think of the finish last weekend at Watkins Glen?
I didn't watch it.
I didn't either.
So Hendrick teammates, Larson and Elliott are going, it's like 2 or 3 laps left, are restarting, and Larson just absolutely pushed Elliott out of the way. They're both on Hendrick and pushed Elliott out of the way. He kind of locked up a front brake, but kind of pushed Elliott out, and he ended up winning the race. And at the end of the race, when they're interviewing him, I didn't mean to do that.
Horse hockey.
And Elliott was extremely graceful in saying, "Congratulations to my teammate
You
that won
dummy."
the race." I can't imagine he was happy, but it was kind of a weird ending to the race.
Well, there was
So
a
this
report
week-
that Hendrick kind of calmed the waves down after. That's the part I heard.
Well, he had a conversation before
Don't do it
Elliott
again.
went
So what's
off.
going on with Kyle Busch? He's all over the news. Has he gotten fired or something?
He has not been rehired by Joe Gibbs Racing.
Well, that's
which is
good.
mind-boggling.
He
Why?
actually
Because he's a great driver.
He's an ass.
he stated
He's still
that
a great driver.
He stated he was talking to other teams openly, and they said no, you're not supposed to do that. With a contract coming up or due to be re-signed, they said, well, you just kind of phased yourself out of it.
It's not only just racing. There's a thing called marketing and PR, and if you're the most hated guy on the circuit, that doesn't bode well necessarily for the team that you're racing for.
when Earnhardt was racing, he was quite hated by a lot of people.
Not by me.
No, but by a lot of people. A lot of
man in
people
black.
love Kyle Busch, but
M&M's pulled out. They're no longer sponsor for him.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason
There's
to
a
let
good
him go.
reason. Millions of
so
dollars.
tonight is Daytona, the night race for NASCAR.
It didn't start running last night on the Xfinity until like 10 o'clock
I
last
know
night.
it was late. And then Darlington is next weekend, and the weekend after that is Kansas. Formula One is back, Jeff.
Not been watching.
The Belgian Grand Prix at
They're always in
Spa,
Belgium.
which is that is one of the iconic tracks with En Rouge, that downhill right-hand turn. They kind of lift at the top and make a left-hand turn.
He's Italian.
It is one of the iconic turns in all of racing.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Well, I'm going to have some Belgian donuts then.
And then the Dutch Grand
Waffles.
Prix
There you
is
go.
the 4th, and then the Italian Grand Prix. Hey, what's the matter, you? Is the 11th of.
They teach an auto class there. What's
What's the matter, you? IMSA this weekend is at Virginia International Raceway, and then IndyCar is at Portland next weekend, Laguna Seca on the 11th.
Great.
Well, we have a very special kind of story coming up here. Jeffrey's going to do it. And the question is, why do the British drive on the wrong side of the road? Why is that?
Because they can.
Yeah. Well, according to the BBC America, originally everyone traveled on the left side of the road, but their mode of transportation now think of 4 legs instead of 4 wheels. Medieval swordsmen on horseback actually rode on the left side to keep their right hand closer to their opponent because of their sword.
Because they were right-handed.
They were right-handed, but 15% of the knights back then were left-handed, so they just had to make do and adapt. Mounting and dismounting was also easier
They
from
were
the
more
left side of the
artistic.
left side of the horse. Safer on that side than to be getting out in the center of the road. So perhaps the question would be, why do people stop traveling on the left? Things changed in the 1700s when large wagons pulled by several pairs of horses, the driver would sit on the last horse on the left side of the rear. So this made it easier for the person on the horse or the swordsman to whip the horses into going faster or slower.
Oh, they're not allowed to do that anymore, are they?
No. So they sat on the left rear side of the horse. Since he was sitting on the left, it opened up opportunities to be passed on the left and to keep the right side of the road open. The British government refused to give up their driving ways and in 1773 introduced the General Highways Act, which encouraged driving on the left. This was later...
It wasn't mandatory, it was just encouraged.
But they passed the Highway Act of 1835 in Britain.
Ooh.
So that means you had to do it.
Uh-huh.
Meanwhile, post-revolution France, under their left-handed ruler, who? Napoleon
Bonaparte.
embraced a permanent move to the right side of the road.
I've known several Bonapartes.
And they're all short guys.
Yeah, with their hands in their pants.
Like somebody else we know.
Amidst all the driving confusion, the British and the French were yielding their power across the globe as part of the rapid colonization. They insisted that countries they occupied drove on the same side of the road as them.
Hence,
the
the
left
British
side.
Commonwealth is all left-hand driving
Yep, you're there.
countries.
This explains why the former British colonies, such as Australia, New Zealand, India, used right-hand drive cars, while former French colonies like Algeria, Ivory Coast, Senegal still drove on the left. Here comes the kicker. Henry Ford, we all know him.
Hank.
Yeah, Hank, baby. Unveiled his Model T in 1908. The driver's seat was on the left, meaning that cars would have to drive on the right side of the road to allow front and back passengers to exit the
On the
car
curb.
on the curb side or the right. According to the National Geographic,
But so what? I mean,
Safer.
The British did it just the opposite way.
Yeah.
Got to
They
exit
were
on the
just as
left.
safe.
Yeah. According to the National Geographic, this influenced a change in many countries. Canada, Italy, Spain changed to the left cars, to left-hand drive cars in the 20s. Most Eastern Europeans followed in the 30s, and Nigeria also followed suit. However, British drivers remain on the left side of the road with right-hand drive cars, and this is highly unlikely to change.
So why is Japan on the wrong side of the road?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's not in the article.
Thank you so much for
All
that.
righty. Next week, we're going to talk about other stuff.
I'm sure we will. A reminder that the In Wheel Time Car Show streams on the iHeart app, Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available from your favorite podcast channel. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this. Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Lupi's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Lupi trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. It's the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we talk with Larry Heiss about the GM Student Corps. Yep, there is such a thing. Conrad has the In Real Time Car Clinic, and we'll also have this week's Auto News just ahead. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to be alive, isn't
Weather permitting.
Yeah, weather permitting. All right, let's get to our next guest right away, shall we? He is with the GM Student Corps. His name is Larry Heiss. Larry, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, gentlemen.
Well,
y'all look really good there.
Oh, gosh.
Listen, I knew we were going to have you on, and I put my makeup on and everything. So I'm glad you caught that.
All color coordinated, too. We got red and white and
blue and black.
That is.
Yankee Doodle.
Like a bad bruise is what we are. That's it. So, Larry, for those of us that really have never heard of the GM Student Corps, why don't we start off with you explaining to us exactly what that is?
Okay. This program was birthed back in 2012 as an idea from at that time, the president of GM North America, Mark Royce. 2 years prior to that, the GM Foundation had donated $27.1 million through the United Way to the Southeast Michigan school system. And it hopes to increase graduation rates up to 80%. Mr. Royce decided that he wanted to do more than just write checks. He wanted to put boots on the ground. And so he contacted a couple of us old retired guys and said, I got this idea. Would you come and talk to us? So a small group of us met periodically for about a year, and together we put together the concept of the GM Student Corps. We went out to mostly inner city schools in the Detroit area, recruited the administration from those schools to help us with this program. And basically the program for the last 10 years, our first year was really 2013, has been each school provides a number of students, usually ranges between 8 and 10 students. We pair those students with a college intern, which we recruit college interns, GM does, interviews them, takes them through stuff. It's part of their intern program. And then we pair them with 2 GM retirees. And for 6 to 8 weeks in the summer, depending on school schedules, they do community service projects in and around their schools. They learn, as we tell the kids when on the first day, this is not summer camp. You're not going to go canoe riding or sit around the campfire and eat s'mores. This is a job. The students are paid. This year they were paid $15 an hour. They work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for 7 to 8 hours per day. They cooperatively decide what projects they want to do in and around their schools and their communities. And they have a great time as well. They learn, they earn, and they lead. That's really the three mantras that we have for the program.
Is the goal to bring them into under the GM umbrella, maybe working in an assembly plant or whatever?
No, not really. Our goal is to help them learn what it is to have a job, help them learn what punctual means, help them learn what discipline means. There isn't any long-term goal to hire any of these students, although that has happened. We've had high school students who were interns become then college interns, and then at the end of their college, they've actually been hired by GM. We probably have, I'm going to say, 5 or 6 of the students that have been through the program who now work for General Motors.
Wow.
So the projects they're working on around the school, I mean, that's not focused on automotive. That's just to help their community.
Community service.
Absolutely. It's a community service-based program. You know, I want to say up front also, GM doesn't have to do this program. This is not, the investment that this program takes is not insignificant. You've got salaries, you've got project costs, you've got meal costs. It's a substantial amount of money. GM, just like any company, is responsible for the bottom line and responsible for returning a return on investment. The return on investment for GM Student Corps is all about building community and allowing young people who have never experienced some of the things that we take them through to experience those things. We take them through a lot of life skills training, how to have a bank account, we have etiquette training for them. We take them through how to apply for college scholarships. We encourage them, take them to trade schools. It's as you can tell, I'm passionate about the program, and I love it.
Do the students, are they all gathered together and working on a singular project around the school, wherever that may be in the Detroit area, or are they all split up and doing different tasks?
We have 15 schools involved in the program, 13 in Metro Detroit, 1 in Pontiac, and 1 in Flint. They individually decide what projects they want to do around their school. And then on occasion, not every year, but on occasion, we bring them all together at if we get a chance to do a big project somewhere, like clean up a park or something, we'll bring them all together. We have 2 or 3 occasions throughout the year, throughout the time period, that we bring all the students together for things like Finance Day. We bring them in and we talk to them about checking accounts and saving accounts and how to be responsible for their funds. And then we have Showcase Day, which is at the end of the program, and they get an opportunity to tell GM employees and executives what they've done for the summer. Mostly they're in their groups at their schools and in their communities.
So, I hate to interrupt. Larry, you said in the beginning that you're working with the school administrators to have them with their buy-in on the program. Do they look for, say, at-risk students or students that are maybe a little more advanced? How does that work? How do they pick or choose or put youngsters or young people into the program?
That's a great question, and we struggle with it every year because this is not a social welfare program. Our retirees are not trained social workers. we can't handle kids that are at risk, and that's not the purpose of the program. We encourage the schools to select their students based on academic performance, attendance performance, attitude. I encourage the retirees to get involved with the school in the selection process for the students, do interviews, meet with the students that are interested in the program. This is not an at-risk type program.
Okay.
And the students are working in school districts that they grew up in, though, too, correct?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
they have a little bit more knowledge of what's going on internally as a student looking out, hopefully to see more of the need as a student that they can serve.
And they can use those folks as recruiters as well.
Right.
Absolutely. We have, in almost every school, the students we select are usually rising seniors or rising juniors. We like to get a couple of rising juniors so that they can help us recruit their teammates for the next summer.
Makes sense.
How many students are there? I mean, what's the selection process like? Say, for instance, at XYZ High School, we're going to allow 5, 10 people into the program. So, what's the selection process? Do the kids have to apply for the program?
It varies from school to school, but basically, overall, it's an application type process. We try to get to each school while that's going on. We make little speeches, which you can tell I'm not bashful about making speeches, and tell them what the program is. I would tell you that we have schools where we'll have 50 students come out and want to be in part of this program. And we have some schools where it's like pulling teeth. We have to really work to get the number of students we want. It just varies. And the other factor that influences all that is the administration. As you might imagine, there's a lot of turnover, especially at inner city schools, in terms of counselors and principals and assistant principals. So we just get started with one school, and then we go back the next year, and we got a whole new crew of folks to work with. So it's not as easy as it sounds. It's difficult from time to time to make sure we get the right students selected.
So do you have like a limitation for that school? Say you do have 50 people apply.
It's always just whatever the program. Like in the first 8 years, we selected 10 students per school. Now we're at 8. We want 8 students per school.
And is there an alumni? No, I don't know how to ask this correctly, but you've had 10 years of 8 to 10 students per school. Who tracks what those alumni have accomplished in their life? Because you are giving ultimately life-changing skills to some of these students that not only can aspire to improve themselves, but you're giving them those skills to improve themselves. So who follows the alumni after they leave the program?
I wish I could tell you that we have a really robust tracking system, but we don't. It gets really difficult to track these students unless they have an interest in being tracked. They go off to school their first semester, and in a lot of cases we just lose track of them. They either don't stay in school or they go off and do something else. I wish it was better, but really I would tell you that probably less than 20% of the students that we've tracked. I would say we've probably had 1,000 plus students in this program since the beginning, and I would say probably less than 20% we're actively engaged with at this point.
But
I wish it was better, but it's not.
Yeah, but even at that, even if the things that you're teaching these kids, because they are still kids, even at juniors and seniors, about checking accounts and banking accounts. I mean, that's the kind of things they need to know that they're not getting a lot of times because whether their environment and the school is definitely not teaching them. I was shocked to find out my 18-year-old granddaughter the other day didn't know how to pump gas in her car. Her mom's always done it for her. Okay, we need to do something here.
Call Grandpa.
Well,
So
we do those kinds of things. We teach them not just life skills, but real world skills, everyday skills.
So even though you don't keep track of them, you've impacted every one of them that's gone through your program. You had to have at least some to give them those skills. I mean, you just can't be exposed without it.
Is this specifically to Detroit, or is this in other cities across the country?
Just Detroit.
This is only in the Detroit area, and that's purposely because this is where we have a large GM retiree pool to pull from. So
got a lot of resources.
I'd love to see it expand, but it's not really practical.
No, but it certainly is something that companies in the certain cities around the United States, I mean, Houston is loaded with certainly oil-related companies here.
Definitely.
That would be something for them to look at in the communities in where they are headquartered.
Engineering and stuff, yeah.
Austin's got a ton of big business.
And like you said earlier, Larry, it's, yes, GM has a responsibility to its shareholders to make money, but GM also has a responsibility to its community to give back.
Yep.
And that's what this program's doing,
Right.
is giving back to the community and giving back to the children of the community who, my opinion, I would say of the 1,000 that you've had gone through the program, I would say way north of 85% of them, their lives have vastly improved by going through such a program, through the life skills that you've given
Back
them.
to the tracking part of this, Larry, and that is, do you know these kids that you have in the program, once they graduate from high school, do you have a percentage that you know actually go on to college? Whether they stay or not doesn't make any difference in the question. It's just, do they actually pursue a higher education because of the program?
My sense is the answer is positive. Yes, they do, but I can't give you any specific numbers on it. But I would tell you probably 80-85% at least start college.
Wow.
Now, whether they, there's a huge drop off after the first semester of colleges, but you have to remember that, as we are in the news and everything else right now, college is expensive. It's expensive. And these students they're not, as we always say, they're not mentally challenged or intellectually challenged. They're just resource challenged. These students, I have schools where these students, out of 10 students, 9 of them live in a home without either parent. They're living with grandma or their aunt or something like that. So these are students that are resource challenged, but they are wonderful students and they're wonderful kids.
And what I know of you as a mentor, this is an emotional experience for you as well.
Very. I will tell you, over the 10 years, I've had more than one time where I got something in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So
hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
And to add to that, I would imagine that there's a great sense of satisfaction with the people that you have in the program as far as mentors or teachers, or whatever they may be called. That has to be a lot of satisfaction with these, because the kids want to be in the program, unlike so many students that are going to high school that don't even want to be in high school. Right. Mm-hmm. So there's that to begin with, and there's got to be a sense of satisfaction to all the retirees that are working the program.
Well, I think the proof of that is that probably 60% of the people, the retirees on my team now, 60, maybe 70% have been in the program since day one.
Oh wow!
And I also want to
get. Now the problem with that is that we're all 10 years older.
Yeah.
And it's a little tougher to get to bend down and pick up and all the other stuff that you have to do. But we keep doing it.
Well, hang in there.
And I want to give a big thank you to Larry as well. Larry and a crew of his came to Houston 5 years ago to help rebuild after Harvey.
Oh, wonderful.
Very nice.
So,
very good.
Thanks again, Larry.
Larry, great guy, great interview. Thank you so much for joining us today, and best of luck in your program. Check in with us at the spring. Let's find out how you've done this year.
We're going to sign Mike up for the course.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
You
you.
bet.
Larry Heiss, GM Student
Very
Corps.
interesting.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. Our address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for Conrad's Car Clinic. Do you have a car clinic
Of
today?
course, I always have a car clinic.
Yeah, sometimes we don't always get to it because we run a little long.
So useless car features automakers got away with.
Yeah. What?
So think about some of them.
Curb feelers.
Well, but were those weren't factory.
No.
I'm
Well,
talking about-
were they?
No, I don't think so.
Crank
But
windows.
Crank windows is one of them.
Cigarette lighter.
But crank windows is one that was a necessity at the time because they didn't have any other way to raise and lower the window. Electric windows didn't happen until afterwards. You can still get crank windows today on some of the work trucks and
Yeah.
stuff. Cigarette lighters, and
With an ashtray,
now
yeah.
as time has progressed and smoking cigarettes is politically incorrect, and the ashtray with it, used to be there was a friend of mine worked in an assembly plant, and he said there were 6 ashtrays in a Cadillac Fleetwood.
Oh yeah, I did that.
One in each side door, front and back, one in the center, and one in the center in the back. 6, and that was his job. Was he would climb in one side, put in 3 ashtrays, climb through the back seat, put in 3 ashtrays. That was his only job, was putting.
Did each ashtray have a cigarette lighter that went with it?
The center ones did, not the side.
I
ones.
assembled the striker cover in the trunk of a Cadillac. I did every third job. 3 screws.
So that means only 1 out of 3 had it.
Yeah, there's a recall back in 19.
But think of some of the other things that were now looked back at as useless. Satellite radio began as a boom, and then the iPad come in to take off, and now satellite radio isn't as much of a need.
Antennas on that too.
Antennas, the opulence of vehicles has gone through the roof in the past decade. BMW was in the forefront and installs a glass shift knob. Why?
Cool.
Because they look cool.
Yeah.
One of the more useless features was suicide doors. The doors that basically opened from the middle.
Hence the name suicide.
Hence the name suicide. And you really think of suicide doors as being a thing of the past. Actually, Lincoln did suicide doors most recently on their Continental.
They
model.
were invented for ladies with skirts to get out of the vehicle without messing up or exposing themselves when they got out of the car.
Remember back in the 80s and 90s when the seat belts would automatically attach?
Those are fun.
Yeah, those have gone away, thank goodness. You've probably seen German and Swedish cars with tiny little windshield wipers on their headlights.
Ooh, tiny little wiper.
Oh yeah, Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Yeah.
So
Now they have them on the headlights.
Well, that's what I'm talking about on the headlights, yeah. So that's very much gone away. And again, the smokers. Mike Tyson had one with a phone built into the car, where it was physically, and I had an Olds Toronado that there was a phone in the center console, kind of like an old bag phone, and you'd pick it up and answer it. Now your phone just Bluetooths into the car, but
and you keep it in your pocket. I remember the Suburban that I had when mobile phones were first coming out, and went through a big process, a big to-do, getting it installed in the Suburban up on the center transmission tunnel.
And there were a couple of cars that actually had coolers in them, built into them. The Dodge Caliber had a cooler, and the Pontiac Aztec, my opinion of the ugliest car General Motors ever
Steel
made.
dashboards.
Well, steel dashboards that was 60s, 50s. They weren't too crash worthy.
No.
A few more other things were unusable features. Third row seating in crossovers. I know that's the bane of Don's driving a small crossover that has a third row seating, and it's basically for bilateral amputees in the back because there is no leg room, and there's no reason to have a third row seat back there because there's the seat, it comes right up.
It's kind of
the back
like
seat.
the third seat in the old Suburbans that you took out and you lost through moves that you made throughout the years, and somebody left it in the attic or whatever
No,
the
you
case
put it in the
may be.
garage. You use it as a seat in the garage.
And audio systems have changed. Was originally an AM radio and then an AM FM radio. They actually had disc record players back in the 60s, and then the 8-track player, and then the cassette player, and then the CD player, and then the dual CD cassette player.
The Wonder Bar.
And now virtually nothing because they depend so much on satellite and your phone. And then one of the other things that is gone is wing windows.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and those went away. 67 was the last year for the wing. 67 was the last year for the wing window.
What about clear tint glass?
Oh yeah, that probably went away back in the 70s, is where they had clear glass, and you actually ordered the option of tinted windows. So useless car features automakers got away with.
Hyundai Motor America and Kia America are recalling over 250,000 vehicles here in the U.S. because of an issue with the tow hitch harness that may lead to a thermal event while parked or driving. The recall covers Hyundai Palisades and Kia Tellurides from 2020 to 2022 model years. A stop sale was issued this past Tuesday in accordance with federal regulations for affected unsold vehicles at dealers and vehicle processing centers, according to NHTSA. Two automakers are advising customers to park their vehicles outside and away from structures until repairs are completed. In both cases, debris and moisture accumulation on the tow hitch harness printed circuit board may cause an electrical short, which can result in a fire, according to the safety recall reports filed with NHTSA. So you can see a car going down the freeway with a fire in its tail end. You're trying to honk the horn and tell somebody, hey, man, you got a fire in the back end of the car, and they pull a gun on you going, don't be jacking with me. Okay, see ya.
Burn, baby, burn!
I was thinking the same thing.
Other recalls, vehicle rollaway from a faulty shift lever assembly mechanism. The Kia Sedona and the Kia Sorento from 2016. Coolant leak inside the EGR module may cause a fire. BMW 540D, I assume that's the diesel, for 2018. Missing weight capacity on the tire label for the Lexus RCF.
That's a compliance recall.
So stupid. What?
It's the gross weight.
The
Nobody
difference
ever looks at
between
that
safety
stupid
and
thing anyway.
compliance recalls, right?
Improper rivets on the seatbelt buckle assembly. We still got this thing going on. 21 to 22. Cadillac, Chevys, GMCs, the Escalade, the Suburban, the Tahoe, and the Yukon. Improperly tightened windshield wiper arms. Oops, there goes the windshield wiper arm on the Chrysler Pacifica and Voyager for 2022. Ford Transit
Voyager.
22.
I didn't know they still made the Voyager.
Ford Transit 2022. Rear view camera display not operating. Damaged drive shaft may fracture in the Ford F-150 for 2021 and 22. That is a major deal. Damaged lamp reflectors on the Subaru Impreza 2017 to 2019. Stop the assembly line.
Yeah.
In the Hyundai Palisade, windshield wipers may fail.
That's a bunch of Palisade recalls, isn't it?
Truly.
Well, they only fail in the rain.
Yeah, that's the only time that you're going to be working.
You know,
them,
you
I
talked
think.
about the
There could be a
shifter knob.
problem
the,
down
the
here.
clear shifter knob. I saw one that the numbers were in Braille.
Oh, yeah. There's the GM, when they had the steering wheel touch, some of the steering wheel touch controls, there were little Braille
Amazing.
markings on
Same
them.
thing at ATM.
And later on, Don's going to rant about the ripoff on MSRP stickers.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I've
And
posted
with
a
a-
couple of them on our
Well,
Facebook
with a couple
page.
of local dealers, as a matter of fact. One has backed off,
Shame on you.
and the other one said, it was a mistake. We didn't do it. It's all
But
MSRP
we
now.
printed
So the
9,000
dealers
copies.
get caught up in it, and it catches fire on the internet as far as social media
And
is
they get
concerned.
burned.
Oh my God! Can you imagine the number of sales they lose? It's a whole story. We're going to get to it. Quick
All right.
break
Yeah,
now.
let's talk.
You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Stay with us.
Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Lupi's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rod, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Lupi Tortilla breakfast breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Real Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Real Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InRealTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Real Time Car Talk. Welcome to the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we're going to have a little discussion about MSRPs and some of the dealers that have gotten their
Adjusted market values is what they call it.
I don't care what they call it. It's a bunch of crap.
Additional dealer markup.
Yeah, it's a bunch of crap.
I'm not arguing that.
We're going to have the events calendar. We're going to have Mr. Mars review the Kia Seltos.
Yes.
All right.
Well, you reacted like, oh my gosh, it's a surprise, and then
No.
yes.
I'm looking forward to it.
He's
I
writing
am.
review now. Right now.
I'm working on.
Drive it on in here, Mike.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything all week long, and he's working on it right now.
Yeah, work under pressure.
That's it.
Turn in your assignment.
Well, we got lots to go, so stay with us. Welcome to the show. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, we need more. Jeff Zekin, always. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday on our live show. If you're listening on a podcast, this show happened on Saturday. It's Saturday. Saturday.
And
Saturday.
and this would be Wednesday's show. Tuesday's show.
Tuesday show.
Tuesday's show. Tuesday's
yeah.
podcast.
Tune in on Tuesday and you'll see the show.
Again.
Saturday.
Or you can
Saturday
hear it
show.
on iHeart later on this evening. You can hear an instant replay on iHeart.
Or you could be watching it right now.
Instant replay.
And don't
Isn't that a
forget-
song?
Replay. Yeah, somebody.
Saturday,
somebody
that's in
said it.
Chicago. Don't forget to subscribe. We need subscribers.
Subscribe
So this
to our
is
YouTube
this
channel.
is the sound off section here
Oh, man, this is...
on the In Real Time.
There used to be
Car
something
Talk
on
Show.
60 Minutes
and,
like that.
and the
didn't there?
post I made on our Facebook page about this is the most active post we have had in a long time.
Good.
It's had over about 200 comments on it so far.
Wonderful.
Well, it's about dealer markups. I read a story a couple of weeks ago that what the survey has found is that people don't like markups.
Survey says.
Survey says, and it hurts two people. It hurts the dealer, and it hurts the manufacturer. In many cases, not all the time. Some people think, okay, well that's just the way it is, and then they buy the car. Okay, that's what you want to do. I wouldn't do it personally.
And it's happened over time a lot.
Because here's the bottom line. You pay over MSRP. That's all money, not just necessarily in the dealer's pocket, but you're never going to recover. When you buy a new car, that decreases in value immediately when you
drive it off the lot.
Drive it off the lot. So whatever over and above manufacturer's retail price, that's going to hurt you in the long run even more.
Except for a very few extremely low production collectible cars.
Well, we're not talking about
but that's
that.
not.
We're talking about mass production.
But one of these could be considered that low production.
The everyday buyer.
You're not going to walk into the Chevrolet or Ford dealer and buy one of those
a
kind of
Ford
cars
GT.
every
And I
day.
think that you're referring to the Corvette.
Yeah, you're not going to.
I think that you're referring to the Corvette Z06.
That's one of them. Ford GT, the 2006 version, the 2015 version, all of them appreciated in value.
Yes, they
that's
did, but
that's
they're
a rarity.
limited production.
And you're right, because those were you had to have a hand to buy one. That
That's
wasn't
right.
something
So
that
you
you
just
could
not
have.
gonna walk in and do it.
If you got the means to buy that, you've got the means. It shouldn't be a concern. It's the everyday guy.
There were many sources that reported this story. This particular one comes from Jalopnik. Internet roasts Chevy dealers for Corvette Z06 allocation auctions. And there was an update to the story. I'll go through this. Dealer markups continue to run rampant. Some dealers still raking in the cash with those hefty price markups. The internet and general population have managed to step in and back dealers against the wall, forcing them to price things more fairly. It happened to one dealer that decided to capitalize on the Corvette Z06 allotments by auctioning off its allocation slot, and the internet rightfully turned on that dealer and stopped the nonsense in its tracks. This particular dealer happened to be, well, there was a couple of them. One is Classic Chevrolet out here in Sugar Land, and the other one is Mack Hike Chevrolet.
Oh, boy.
That put
it in writing.
Put it in writing. A premium on a Corvette Z06, $90,000 over MSRP.
Which is all pocket money. That is pure profit.
I don't know Mack Hike personally, but I used to know that he had a very reputable dealership, and all above
probably
board.
still does, but this was
Yeah.
Somebody overzealous.
Somebody overzealous.
Yeah.
But they put it in writing and mailed it to the customer.
Yeah.
The customer took it and posted it on social media, and to say it went viral would say that's an understatement.
After they changed their drawers.
So they had, what was it, a $6,000 non-refundable deposit
Yep.
plus $90,000 additional dealer markup or
On to the MSRP.
adjusted
plus
market price.
the resale limitation requirements.
Well, the resale limitation requirements is not by the dealership.
Well, I understand,
The,
but that's
the
all.
ADM is by the dealership. The resale warranty limitation is by the manufacturer, and that is if you sell the car within a year of purchasing it, the next buyer doesn't get the continuation of the full warranty. They only get the base warranty, so all that powertrain stuff goes away.
Did they waive the transportation and delivery fee?
No, they're not going to do that. It's just a big, ugly mess. As a matter of fact, in addition to this, I have a friend of mine that I work with that actually bought a Gilman Subaru,
No.
more than $3,000 above sticker for an Impreza with 3,000 miles on it.
It was a demo.
It was a demo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they paid above sticker for a Subaru.
Oh.
All brands have those one or two cars that can get a
premium.
Probably a WRX.
No.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, it was an Impreza.
Well,
No, but it wasn't a WRX. No. It wasn't a specialty.
So is that just recently?
Yeah,
So they're
a couple
paying,
weeks ago.
They're paying the premium because of availability.
Correct.
Yeah.
And,
quite popular right now.
so what happens is, and we mentioned this in a story that I did a couple of weeks ago, you probably remember. What happens is a couple of things. One is it ticks people off with the dealer.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah. Because you're going to charge me a premium. I'm coming in here to buy a car. I'm willing to pay MSRP. Listen, I've paid MSRP for a car.
And
before.
MSRP means
Manufacturer's
manufacturer's suggested retail price.
That's correct.
because the manufacturer cannot set the retail price. That's called price fixing.
Right.
So they can suggest the retail price.
Right.
I
that's
suggest
the-
you buy somewhere else.
And that's what's on the window sticker is MSRP, generally speaking. Some of the cars, the dealers have taken and put undercoating on it, or window tint on it,
Or etching.
Etching.
or spinners on the wheels, whatever the case may be.
Everything.
Spinners.
Yeah, spinners. Did
I
you
love
like
'em.
that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And okay, if you want to buy that, whatever the dealer has put on the car, it's fine. They're saying this is what we've put on the car over and above MSRP. Take it or leave it. Okay, I get that. That's fine. But what happens is if you go over and above, and the survey says, and we did the survey, that the majority of people dislike it so much that they'll never go back to the dealer again. So the dealer has shot themselves in the foot.
And in some instances, they don't separate the dealer from the manufacturer, and they won't buy that brand again.
That's exactly right. And
Well, that's the mindset of the public.
Right.
well, yeah, I'm ticked off. I had to buy a car. You didn't offer me. You didn't give me a choice. I looked around, and nobody's got that particular car that I want, and
Except you.
Except you, and then you rip me off. Is it worth it? Because there are some dealers out there that rely on getting more and more business throughout the years to come because you treated them right up front.
Correct. And that, if you want to understand a dealer who understands that philosophy, Carl Sewell wrote a book back in the 80s called Customers for Life.
Yep.
And back in the 80s, he said one customer is worth just short of $700,000 over the lifespan of that customer as that repeat business comes back.
Right.
So, there are some dealers out there that live that mantra, and then there are ones that want to turn you upside down and shake $90,000 out of your pocket.
Good luck.
Well, there's that, but like you were talking about some of the add-ons that the dealer does. I mean, we bought a Honda back in 2000. Well, that's not really what I wanted. I wanted a Camry. So I went to the Camry dealer and said, look, I want one, but I don't want the seat treatment. I don't want all the etching and all the stuff that you've got on this vehicle. Give me one that doesn't have that. Well, that's when I learned that Gulf States Toyota does that to every Toyota in the 5-state area. And if you want a Toyota, you buy that.
Well, they do it as it comes into the port.
Right.
You know,
that's what I'm saying. But by the time it gets to the dealer, even though the dealer doesn't have anything to do with it, he's got it on his paperwork there on the window sticker, and either you buy it or you walk away like I did.
That's what I was going to say. So my own personal belief is if you're going to add on to the MSRP, I'll go somewhere else.
Absolutely.
If I have to drive 100 miles to a dealer in Madisonville or wherever the case may be, I'll go there and buy. I'll take the extra effort not to give you the sale.
And if you go back in time, this has happened on many different brands and many different cars. I'm going to go, when I was working for Oldsmobile back in 1995 when the Oldsmobile Aurora first came out, the original one.
I remember.
Some of them were getting $5, $7, $10,000 over sticker for that car.
Yes.
Kathy had one,
Did she?
green one. She hated it.
And today, and then it's kind of progressed through the Corvettes, the C4 Grand Sport. Some of the Chevrolet dealers were asking over sticker. The ZR1s, Chevrolet dealers were asking. The C4s and the C6 ZR1s, they were getting over sticker for them.
I take that
so
back.
it's not uncommon.
It wasn't an Aurora, it was an Achieva.
Oh, okay, different car.
Yeah.
Totally different
Yeah.
car. And you just talked about the Z06. If you go to our social media on Facebook, there's a window sticker of a Nissan Z car, the new Z car coming out, and they're asking almost $74,000 adjusted market value.
That's nuts.
Over that. So it's a $130,000 Z car that actually stickers for $55,000.
Can I finance that for
So,
10
I mean,
years?
you're doubling.
No, you can't.
You're doubling the price of it.
No, you can't because
they won't loan you
banks won't loan you
Correct.
that. So that's got to be the cash
That's why I brought
down
it up, yeah.
portion
out of
it.
your pocket.
Right, that's got to be. And the funny thing on this Z car goes to what Mars was talking about is there's also a $1,200 charge for door edge guards, handle cup protectant, and lifetime car washes for $1,200 on top of the $74,000 over sticker. So there's all these different ways that they make money. Some of them are openly objectionable. Some of them are kind of hidden in what they do. And they have the right to make money. I'm not saying they don't have the right to make money.
Well, no, they have to make money so they can stay in business.
But I guess what ticks me off is that, once you buy the car from XYZ dealership, now I understand also today part of the incentives for some cars is we'll give you free oil changes for the next year. Well, that's fine. That doesn't really cost the dealer that much money.
Yeah.
But what that does is it definitely brings the car back, and the dealer can find something else wrong with it and charge them to fix it.
It's called the halo effect.
Warranty work or whatever. While I got it in there, get my oil changed.
Yeah.
Do it.
So
and Candace Thackeray's on here talking about the new Ford Bronco. Some dealers are getting over sticker for the new Ford Bronco.
I have a story
Does Candace
about
have one?
that.
Does Candace have one?
They own a Ford dealership. Thank you, Mars.
You're welcome.
The Lightning and EV Mustang. Part of the story on that is they just renewed the $7,500 tax credit for it.
Yep.
Well, guess what? Ford just increased the price of it. One of the Lightning by $8,500 and the Mustang by $8,000. So there goes that $7,500 tax credit. Is being absorbed by the manufacturer. So it's not just the dealer. Everybody's trying to make every little nickel and dime they can. And they have the right to, but they also, some consumers are going to give them some backlash, and they're going to have some upset folks out there
Well, they already do. I mean, apparently the social media uproar over this $90,000 upcharge at Mack Hike Chevrolet, which, by the way, they've backed off of that, and now they're going to sell it at MSRP. That turned ugly quickly.
That went all the way to corporate.
Oh, yeah.
That went all the way to corporate like 2 days after it was first posted. And corporate, Chevrolet Corporation, General Motors as a corporation, cannot do anything about that. That is not their place. They can coach and counsel the dealer on how that is image wrong, but they cannot tell them what price they can sell it for because that becomes price fixing.
Well, what they can do,
affect their allocation.
I don't know if I say
I was going
this.
to say they'd slap them.
You may get that one, but you may not get another.
That's right. And to that end, there is another edict that has come down. I actually sent the story to Candace yesterday because they have a Ford dealership outside of Kansas City. That Ford is saying, okay, we can play this game too. And that is, if you sell the car if you order a car and through Ford, and then you flip the car, we're not going to accept the warranty.
Right. Well,
any car?
For
that car.
A year duration.
For the used car purchaser. So if I buy a Z06 Corvette at MSRP or whatever price I buy it at, and I flip it immediately, like take it to Barrett Jackson, which happens quite a bit.
Or sell it to Mars.
Yeah. He won't get the full warranty of the vehicle. He's going to get a extremely restricted part of the warranty of the vehicle. So I'm penalizing Mars because he's Mars, and he was dumb enough to buy my Z06 Corvette.
At that price. But, we're talking about those cars, but when you said Ford, was that literally a Focus?
That was the...
or it was
Lightning.
the Lightning truck.
Bronco Lightning.
Lightning.
Okay.
Chevrolet did it on the Z06 Corvette. Mm-hmm. Yep. And they announced it. They actually put it in writing.
Yeah.
John Caldwell says, hey, just count your car note as a student loan and you get $10,000
There you
back
go.
from Joe Biden.
Yeah, let it identify as a
John.
student
Oh, wait a
loan.
minute. That's only for Pell loans.
That's $20,000 if it was a Pell loan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because...
and this is all a bit of market driven. If you think about, we live in a capitalist society, or we used to live in a capitalist society. I don't know what direction we're going now, but in a capitalist society, it's all about supply and demand. And when supply is low and demand is high, prices go up.
Yep.
That's inflation. That's what causes inflation. There's a lot of money out there right now, and people are buying things, so inventories are low, and that's what drives prices up. In the car business, when inventories are low, which they have been for quite some time,
couple of years,
paying over sticker because of supply chain issues is not uncommon for the normal car, much less the exotic car.
Yep. And there's plenty of supply on in-wheel time, so you're not going to get inflation with in-wheel time. Just letting you know.
That's true.
So our we're happy to take new advertisers. Contact Jeff at inwheeltime.com.
We jack it up without a price increase.
But that market-driven pricing is that's called capitalism, and the other side of it is sometimes the public reacts to it negatively because you are
Getting a little
getting
carried
in their
away.
pocket.
The public is the buyer.
Exactly.
Well, they are, and that's your market. It's just whenever you go in to buy a new car and you say, okay, yeah, I'll pay you that much for it, and the salesman turns around and calls his travel agent and says, book me that trip to Hawaii. You kind of know you're kind of screwed.
Well, I think most cars over the last couple of years have nobody's really discounting cars right now. Mm-hmm. They don't have to. So paying MSRP is the norm, and on top of that, the selection of the inventory is so low. You're going online to order it.
But we were talking about that earlier before we went on the air this morning, that it appears that some dealers are actually starting to get some inventory.
Yeah,
not a lot, but some.
And I think that's going to surge and stop as well, because I think General Motors just announced they are going to shut down full-size truck production because of supply chain
Was it General
issues.
Motors or Ford? Ford's
laying off 4,000 people.
Yeah.
Moving to the EVs. GM is going to halt Silverado and Sierra production because of supply chain issues. So that's like right around the corner.
We got a lady I know totaled her truck, and it's only a couple of years old. Anyway, so she's looking for another truck.
Good luck.
And that's what she said. If you run across somebody that's got one, let
Right
me know.
over there at Classic Chevrolet, they've got a whole lot full of white work trucks.
Well, those are fleet, and for some reason they are the GM and Ford and Chrysler are feeding the fleet. Silsbee sells a lot of fleet. They sell a lot of fleet out of the Ford store there. You go up there to the Ford store in Silsbee, and I bet you they have 400 white and black vehicles on the ground. Now, the fleets that they sell to are municipalities and
States
police.
and-
I couldn't buy a fleet car.
You probably could, but I imagine all of these are spoken for. So they've got state police.
Why would they sit on the lot? But there's got to be
waiting to get upfitted?
100 of them out there.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you said that obviously depreciation on the vehicle. So
With
you
the
go
paint
out
soon to peel off.
You go out and crash your car. You total your vehicle, whatever vehicle it is. Now, if you were to sell that vehicle, they're going to up the price because it's a used pre-owned vehicle because they want your vehicle to sell on the lot. Hear me out. So when you wreck it, is the insurance company, and this might be something we could look into, is the insurance company going to give you a higher value of it or the value of what that day of that crash and the mileage and the respect of that vehicle?
I didn't ask. I thought that might get a little too personal, but I would assume
They're not going to give you
that it'd be like your house. Here's the value of it, but now the market value of that house
It's
because of it's really high. And I would think same thing with the truck. They're going to look in the book and say, well, this is worth this much. Well, I paid $5,000 more than that. Sorry, but
Yep.
this is what that truck is worth according to the book.
and
And
then you take the loss on the crash.
Yes.
Oscar asked a question, do we think they're ever going to get back to the point where inventory levels are going to be high enough to sell below MSRP? I don't think so. I think they have learned a new way to sell,
Yes.
both the manufacturer
I
and the
agree.
dealer. And I don't think you're going to see those dealerships that have 1,500.
As many of them. There will be some that is going to rely on the fact that they've got a lot full of selection, and here you come.
Very
Yeah,
few
but
of them, I
it'll-
think, are going to carry 1,500 pieces of
Yeah, I
inventory.
think they're
Well,
going
not
to change
that
that.
many.
But they have been.
Oh, I know.
Classic Sugarland.
Even 400 or 500 or
you know.
600 of them. A lot of them aren't going to do that anymore.
Right.
Time now for the events calendar. Do you happen to have that
Yes, I do.
at your hand?
And with upcoming events tomorrow, or excuse me, this afternoon, this evening, Brookshire Brothers Cruising in Montgomery, Texas, starts at 5 p.m. at the Brookshire Brothers. At 6 p.m., the Wharton Cruise Night at Domino's Pizza. Also at 5 p.m., the Saturday night cruise in at Home Depot in Marina Bay in Clear Lake Shores. Those are all free cruise-ins. Kingwood Classic Cars and Coffee at the Whataburger in Kingwood is tonight at 7:30 p.m. Tomorrow morning, Cars and Coffee at Circuit of the Americas, which ought to be fun. I wonder if they're going to give you any track time. But you loved your track time.
Loved it. Wonderful.
So also is the Cool Down Meet at the Asylum in Houston, and again that's an open meet, and that's at 12 p.m. 6 p.m. tomorrow night is Sunday night at Freddy's. Test and Tune at Houston Motorsports Park is Sunday night at 6 p.m. And also Sunday night is Coffee and Jeeps at Barbosa Coffee in Tomball, Texas. And that starts at 6 p.m.
So we're having a car show out here by the Asylum.
By the Asylum.
The Insane Asylum. All right, time now for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars had a chance to drive the 2022 Kia Seltos.
Yeah, it did, and I have to tell you, I was really looking. I was kind of, this is a subcompact vehicle, but it's a larger subcompact vehicle, and it's a very crowded segment. There's a lot of them out there, but I have to tell you, I got more comments on this particular vehicle. Now, it's the Nightfall is the trim level. There's 5 of them, and the Nightfall's next to the top.
Is this a SUV?
Yes, okay. SUV, and it's blue with a white top on it, and everybody liked the way that it looked. Now, the Seltos is only a couple of years old. Again, 5 trim levels. Basically, it's a 4-passenger vehicle. I don't care what anybody says. So this year for 2022, it's got minimal updates, but this is when they introduced the Nightfall trim level. So up front, you're going to find out a blacked-out grille with LED headlights. Got a light bar across there. The front fog lights are LED. They're kind of stacked up in there. So you got black roof rails
I like them
to go on top of that white top, and so it really kind of stands out with that deep, dark ocean blue paint. And we had the optional 18-inch wheels that are black, and we had the power. No, we didn't have the power gate. That's one thing I noticed was it did not have that power gate. But again, it got several compliments on the way this vehicle looked, even from other Kia drivers. The interior, we had the cloth seating surfaces. It had the heated front seats. The rear seat was a 60/40 folding seat.
I like cloth.
It was comfortable. I mean, it was really nice, particularly on the hot days when I went out there to get in.
Every day.
That white top just kind of went real good together. So we had the optional 10.25-inch monitor. This is where you're going to find your Kia Connect with your convenience controls, your audio, and your rear view camera. And it's got the dynamic guidelines, which I thought was nice for that segment. And it's listed to have 26.6 cubic feet behind the second seat.
Does anybody really understand what that means?
I
think that's a worthless figure. Nobody knows. Okay, 26 cubic feet. So a little 12 by 12 by 12 box. Put 26 of them in there, and that's what it is. And nobody cares about that.
Give me how much luggage can I take to the airport?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's just a comparison tool if everybody measures the same way. Anyway, I really like the way it had the nice open space, but like I say, for that segment, this is a little bit larger vehicle. Now, to make all this stuff go, we had the 1.6-liter turbo up underneath the hood, 175 horsepower, backed by a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic. EPA says you should be looking for 25 in the city, on the highway 30, and combined 27. Now, I barely got 26. Because this turbo with this 7-speed, it's got more than adequate power.
I'm sure you tested
and it really does. I mean, it's not a race car by any means.
Did you get a ticket in this?
No, sir.
You want one?
You gonna hook me up?
Yeah.
But it does. It's got enough juice to it that it does give you a little bit of a driver experience, if you will. But it's definitely not a race car. But it is nice to drive. It is a firm ride.
Driver experience.
And
what a bunch of crap.
The steering is kind of responsive. It'll go where you want it to go. If you're looking for something to compare this vehicle to, you might look at the Honda HR-V that's going to start at about $21,800. Hyundai Kona, $21,300. Mazda CX-30 starts at $22,500. Now, you can get a stripper Seltos for $22,590.
Strippers.
But
Stacked.
Our base steering trim price was $26,690. And as tested, it was only $28,435.
That's not a bad price for something that low.
As long as you don't have some, $10,000 dealer markup on it.
No, we didn't have any of that. Not that I could find. So I thought, particularly for the price of it, I thought there was a lot of value
Good
to be had
value.
here.
It is a good looking vehicle too. I saw it out here when you had it.
All right, thank you, sir. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. You also stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available at your fingertips from your favorite podcast source. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Lupi's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rod, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Lupi trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In-Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In-Wheel Time Car Talk.
Monty! Good morning, buddy.
Is Monty smaller than 26 cubic feet? Will he fit in the trunk?
I think our next guest is kind of looking.
Yeah.
What in the world are they doing?
Good
morning. It's the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Monty, the singing donkey. We have Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more, Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us
Monty
today.
is a subscriber.
He is a subscriber.
Why aren't you?
Yes. Why aren't you? Oh, Lord.
Golly.
Well, I can't help it. I know that there was a request. What's happened to
Sure. Monty requested it.
And Monty is still alive and well. And Pinky actually posts stuff about Monty every day on Instagram and every once in a while on Facebook. So there you have it. Welcome to the show, everybody. We just wanted to start it off on the right note this half hour. That's Monty the Singing Donkey. And Chris Harto, if you're not familiar with Monty, you need to do that. And maybe there's a consumer report in the offing here that we can get Monty on there as a spokesperson for something, I'm sure. Consumer Reports, Chris Harto, good to have you with us, my friend. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
You bet. I know that's kind of an odd intro. You probably never experienced that before, but you can go on and
Never will again.
never will.
You can tell your grandchildren about
That's
that one.
exactly right. So electric cars and plug-in hybrids that qualify under the Inflation Reduction Act, which is something that just passed recently. So we're going to try to sort this out, and we turn to Chris Harto with Consumer Reports to please try to explain this to us, because, you know, for years we've had the $7,500 credit if you buy an electric car.
For up to 200,000 vehicles per manufacturer.
Right. And I know that Toyota, I think, has reached that cap, and I think maybe a couple of others have.
Yeah.
But is that even still out there, Chris?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of changes that have gone into effect in the past week, and even more that are going into effect over the next couple of years. The biggest thing that people need to know about today is that the requirement that vehicles need to be manufactured in the U.S. to qualify for the credit went into effect last week. So if the vehicle is imported, it no longer qualifies for the existing credit. But if it's made in the U.S., if it's manufactured in the U.S., it will qualify until the end of the year. And then there's a bunch more requirements that go in at the beginning of next year.
So why did Consumer Reports jump in on this and say, hey, look, you know, here's how it works? Because I think, at least for me, it's become really muddied. It muddied the waters. I don't really quite understand everything. Yes, American made, but do the same restrictions take place with those companies, like, for instance, Toyota, that reached the limit of the number of vehicles? So that doesn't apply to
Has
Toyota
that been
anymore?
reset, Chris?
So yeah, the reason we jumped in is because, you know, we're here to help consumers navigate this challenging landscape, and it's challenging. So again, the built in the United States requirement goes into effect right now until the end, and it's there forever. But some of the other requirements don't go into effect until the beginning of next year. So at the beginning of next year, the cap goes away. So companies like Tesla, like GM, like Toyota will no longer be capped out, and they will be eligible for the tax credit again. But a number of other requirements go into place at the beginning of the year. Income limits, so it limits the use of the tax credit for families making $300,000 or less. There's some price caps in there. So an SUV has to cost below $80,000. A car has to cost below $55,000. And then it adds these more challenging requirements around the percent of the materials that go into the battery have to either be manufactured in North America or critical minerals coming from countries that the U.S. has free trade agreement with.
Oh,
so
my
this
gosh.
makes it really complicated and hard for consumers.
How do as a regular person, like, well, I'm not regular, but a person, navigate all of that? That's just so much. I mean, it's the $7,500 thing. That was easy, but this isn't.
Well, read Consumer Reports, because I think that's why they did the story.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that plug. I appreciate that.
And subscribe.
Well, the other thing too is let's not mess around here and just get to it. The fact that Toyota can be made in America, because there are a lot of plants here in the United States that build Toyotas.
Yeah, absolutely. Just about every automaker has some North American presence, some manufacturing capacity here in the United States. So there's nothing that says long-term that any automaker shouldn't be able to meet these requirements down the road. It's just the transition. It's going to take them a while to get up to speed, build factories here, build the battery factories here. build up their supply chain from qualifying countries. So yeah, it's going to be kind of a complex and messy transition as automakers adjust to these new rules.
So
and these tax credits, unlike the old ones that went away after 200,000 vehicles, are unlimited, and they exist till 2032. So there's some time for automakers to adjust and still take advantage of these.
So what is the easiest way to find out if your XYZ car that you're really interested in meets all of
Qualifies.
the criteria for you to get this discount?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have a tool on our website to help consumers, cr.org/EV savings. That'll help guide you through some of this. But in the short answer is, in the short run, it's still going to be complex. Ultimately, we think the IRS is going to come up with some rules that require automakers to certify their vehicles in advance, so that there can be a list online. There'll be a clear list. We're hoping down the road they'll actually get the tax credit eligibility on the sticker. So when you go to the dealer, that tax credit amount will be on the sticker. When you go to buy the car, it'll tell you exactly how much credit you might be eligible for on that specific vehicle. But that's going to take some time. Those rules still need to go into place, and so there's going to be some challenges in the meantime.
Well, I think that this really holds true just like every other car purchase that you make. You need to go to the dealer and be knowledgeable so you know going in, this is what is available to me, because I can't imagine that every car dealer has a salesperson that is familiar with all of that.
Doubtful.
Doubtful. And so you really are probably going to have to school him.
But the tax credit comes after the purchase. It's not included in the purchase.
Correct.
It actually comes. You buy the vehicle, and then in the future you apply for that tax credit. It's not that they give you the discount on the sticker. Isn't that correct?
So there are some changes coming that way too. For the next year and a half, you still have to apply for the tax credit on your taxes at the end of the year. But starting in 2024, dealers will be able to register with the IRS and be able to give you that tax credit at the time of purchase.
That's why they needed the
when
other
you go to purchase the car, the
87,000.
dealer will be able to knock it right off the price.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that way, all of us who don't want to purchase an EV can donate to those who do. Sorry.
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
It truly is.
So, Chris, how long have you been with Consumer Reports?
I've been with CR for about 4 years.
4 years. Do you have a math degree?
I have a chemical engineering degree.
Oh, well, there you go. That's why he's doing this.
He understands the batteries and the chemistry and battery.
Not only that, but he can work all those numbers and letters and stuff.
You had a chemical engineering
So,
in the
Chris,
70s.
I did.
Is this still only applied to new vehicle purchase?
That's a great question. The $7,500 tax credit applies to new vehicle purchases, but there is a new used vehicle tax credit going into place. Again, starting in 2024, a used vehicle will be able to get up to $4,000 off. There are some restrictions on that. The vehicle has to cost less than $25,000, and the income limits for that used tax credit are half of what they are for the new tax credit.
Oh, my
so
God.
$150,000 family income or $75,000 income for an individual.
Nothing the government does is easy. It's always got to be complicated, so it's difficult to collect.
And these
I
are
mean,
gasoline
ultimately.
vehicles. They're not the electric ones yet.
No, he's talking about.
You're
EVs,
are you
right, the
talking
EVs.
about electric cars and plug-in hybrids, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So if it's electrified, there is a chance, a very
Depending
small
on where it's
chance,
produced. Well, a pretty large chance that it's eligible. And I posted your cr.org/EV savings on our social media so that people can click on that and see if what they're looking for qualifies today, tomorrow, or in the future, because that is kind of a moving target, as you've said.
So is there a story that goes along with the breakdown on how all this works as well? that you guys have posted?
Yeah, there is. We have a couple stories up online that'll walk people through all of the changes, all of the the specific requirements that go into place and when they go into place, as well as laying out what we think in terms of the vehicles that'll most likely qualify now and in the future.
Were you just thrilled when you got this assignment?
I love talking to you guys.
Good answer. Good answer.
All I can think of is, okay, so I'm sitting in the editorial meeting.
I'm the young guy here. I've only got 4 years with him, so I get this story.
We're going to screw him on this
No,
one.
he just gets this story.
Oh, my God.
So
And look at the
he spent
smile
a lot
on
of
his
time and
face.
effort building this story.
I know he did, but what a total pain in the rear. I mean, to navigate through all of that, then you got to come up with how you're going to communicate this. I mean, what a challenge.
And
What a
it
challenge.
changes January 1st. It changes again in 2024. So it's not just today. It's in the future.
It's a moving target.
As it evolves.
Yep.
So, Chris,
Yep.
you've pretty well answered our questions. What questions should we be asking, though?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Do I
Yeah,
qualify?
I mean, I think ultimately the automakers are gonna complain. They're gonna for a while, but I think they're ultimately gonna comply. And ultimately, the old tax credit was a little bit easier to understand, but it was kind of a catch-22 because that 250,000 unit limit pretty much ensured that as soon as an automaker built an EV that was popular and people wanted, they immediately ran out of credits because they sold too many EVs. And so, again, with these changes, although there's a lot of complexity and there's going to be a lot of uncertainty in the transition, ultimately these tax credits are going to allow automakers to build large volumes of popular vehicles, which means they're more likely to be able to get them down into the mainstream segments at more mainstream prices. It's really going to help get more middle class consumers.
Now,
EVs.
when you talk about tax credits, let's just say, for instance, it's $7,500. We'll use that as a random number. Is it the full $7,500, or is it the taxes that you fall into the category for the $7,500?
That's a great question, and there's still a little bit of uncertainty there, but we believe that when you're able to transfer that tax credit to the dealer, when that part of the credit goes into effect in 2024, that will take care of the tax liability. The tax liability will no longer be part of the equation. So if you don't make enough money to qualify for the full $7,500, you can transfer that credit to the dealer, who will have the tax liability and
Who is it that came up with this archaic, bizarre, complicated?
Nancy Pelosi and the whole crew.
Joe Manchin.
Yeah.
100% of this is Joe Manchin. He held the final vote on this bill. He thought it was very important to make sure that the EV tax credits went to American jobs and make sure that it really helped drive an American supply chain, a more secure supply chain for electric vehicles.
Like people in West Virginia are buying many EVs.
Yeah, a lot of them. So because they got to run their stills.
But they may be working in an EV battery factory soon.
That's true.
Or in EV part manufacturing.
Yeah, one of those mines.
So if you buy an EV, you get your own personal IRS agent.
Ooh.
One of 87,000
There you
new
go.
ones, huh?
So, Chris, a couple of things you said right there. So, once in 2024, once this all rolls over to the dealer, being able to apply the credit to the price, are you thinking, or I'm thinking? Let me rephrase it. I'm thinking, okay, here's my negotiated price. That $7,500 is going to come off of that negotiated price.
That's the way it should work. There's some requirements in the law that the dealers have to be upfront about, how much of the tax credit they're eligible for, how much they're getting, and they have to, give the consumer that full amount, or they lose the ability from the IRS.
So I'm just thinking, if I'm buying a $60,000 car and I get that credit, so now my out the door price is $52,500. Well, now I've got to pay taxes at my county level, and I'm thinking, well, that'll save me a couple of bucks there too, because I'm only paying it on that $52,500.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, but if you look at what Ford just did on the Mach-E and the Lightning is, they see this $7,500 tax credit coming, so they raise the price of both of those vehicles by $8,000 and $8,500. So I think this is still susceptible to confusion at the retail level as well.
Yeah. There's always a risk that the automakers and the dealers are gonna be able to capture some of this tax credit. Ultimately, we hope that it drives a more competitive market. Right now there's still fairly low volumes of EVs, and demand far outstrips supply. So automakers and dealers have a lot of power, a lot of pricing power in raising those prices of EVs. But we hope that as more competition kicks in, as more vehicles hit the market, as more volume hits the market, that some of that pricing power will return to the consumer.
Chris, what are you driving right now?
I drive a Metro train and an electric bike. I do have a Subaru Outback that I take occasionally for longer trips, but I mostly use public transit in my electric bike.
Must be nice.
That said, I can't wait to get into an EV. I've actually been trying to trade my Outback in for an EV for 2 years, and it's been nearly impossible to get a hold of any of the ones that I want at anywhere close to MSRP, and I'm not quite ready to pay a $10,000 or $20,000.
Now wait just a minute. You have an entire fleet of cars at Consumer Reports. You just can't take one of those?
So I'm based in Washington, D.C., and our track is out in Connecticut. So I occasionally get to fly out there and drive all the cool cars that we've got on the track, and drive them around town, and drive them when I'm in town. But unlike our folks out at the track in Connecticut, who get to drive, whatever's at the track all day, take them home, drive them around. We don't get that.
Plus, he's only been there 4 years.
And when you do get that EV, we will guarantee you a tax credit.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Chris, it's great to talk to you, as always. We love you guys at Consumer Reports. Where can we find the information online?
Just go to cr.org, look at our auto section, and you should be able to find the stories on these tax credits.
We appreciate you, my friend. Let's talk again soon.
Yeah, thank
you. Nice talking with you guys.
You bet.
Next time.
Okay. Chris Harto.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Wonder if he wants to come back.
He'll never. We started off with Monty the singing donkey. He's going, what in the world have I gotten myself into?
My brain is burning after all those numbers.
Yeah, exactly. We'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. Our address is info@inwheeltime.com. Did we satisfy George this morning by playing Monty?
If George is satisfiable.
You've
known him longer than we have. Have you ever satisfied George?
Go ahead,
answer that.
I doubt that. Let me put it that way. I doubt it. Most stolen cars of 2021. Any guesses?
Prius.
F-150. Silverado. Toyota Camry. Honda Accord. No, maybe not Honda Accord. May have fallen off by now.
Nope.
Dodge Ram. Have I gotten a few of them?
Some.
Okay. Well,
so we start.
You start from the bottom.
Number 10, Toyota Corolla, 13,000.
Okay.
This is nationwide, by the way. Number 9, the Jeep Cherokee and Grand Cherokee.
Oh, wow.
Right there with the Toyota Corolla at 13,000. Honda CRV. CRV.
Well, I think that has moved to their number one seller.
13,000 total thefts. Nissan Altima.
Again, their number one seller.
It's a crossover to a Camry kind of size.
14,000. GMC pickup.
Yeah.
Half ton, full size.
Based on volume, those are the highest volume vehicles.
15,600.
If everything being equal,
this is what
those
reported.
are right.
Number 5, The Toyota Camry, $17,000.
Always on the list.
Now we're going to jump
From 17,000
to $30,000. Honda Accord at number 4.
Okay, Honda Accord's still on it.
What?
I thought Honda Accord would have fallen off. Well,
Why
you
would
got to
you
think,
wanna-
when you sell 400,000 vehicles, if 1% of your vehicles are stolen, you have a higher percentage than the car that they only sell
I
10,000
guess.
of.
I guess, but I mean,
40,000, yeah.
if I'm going to be a car thief, I don't think I'm going to go after the Honda Accord.
Unless you know how to steal it.
Or
maybe there's something about that car and some of these cars that make it easier for the theft to happen.
Yeah, that could be.
And that's why
The
they
thrill
do
of
it.
it, and then the parts.
the Joyrider's not a big deal, I would think. I would think it'd be the chop shops and stuff.
Well, here's the interesting thing about this list. There are 1, 2, 3 cars from one manufacturer. Honda. Okay, so I said the Honda Accord. Number 3 is the Honda Civic.
Oh,
31,000.
Again, there must be something about that car that
Quality
makes it
parts.
easier to steal.
Hondas. Number 2, the Ford pickup full size at $47,999.
Drum roll, number one.
The Chevrolet pickup
Yeah.
truck for $48,206. Total thefts.
There's a list Chevrolet wishes they weren't the top of.
Well, none of these. I mean, today, really? How?
And that list hasn't really changed a lot over the years, except back when Oldsmobile was in business and the Oldsmobile Cutlass was number 1 forever.
Right, I'll bet.
Oh,
was it really?
Oh, yeah, it was
Of
forever.
course, they made a bajillion of them, and you know the funny thing about those? You just don't see any Cutlasses.
No.
Of all of the bajillion Cutlasses that
My
they
brother
made,
had one. I had one.
I had one. Well, the family had
Yeah.
one.
And
And
you don't
they
see
were
'em.
so popular. And now the new thing, apparently, is 80s cars. Well,
yeah.
hello there.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking maybe we'll start seeing some Cutlasses going
Yeah,
for
Monte
$80,000 across the auction block.
Monte Carlos.
Doubtful.
Yeah. Citations.
The Buick Regal GNX.
Oh, yeah.
Couple of interesting stories making headlines this week. Tesla's use of the name Full Self-Driving, or FSD, has been criticized because the features require active supervision and don't make its vehicles autonomous. They're going to start charging $15,000 for the driver assistant features.
Wow.
Full self-driving,
They pay extra for the wreck.
raising the price of the controversial product for the second time this year. The hike for customers in North America will take effect September 5th. Current $12,000 price will be honored for orders made before that date, he wrote. Elon Musk. Tesla shares fell as much as 2.7% to $866 a share. Oh.
So, we had the guy on from Dodge a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about they are going to be releasing a new version
Right.
of the Hellcat Charger.
Every week or so,
Challenger,
yeah.
every week, every month.
Month.
So they released the first one called the Challenger Shakedown. It's the first of their new V8 muscle cars and kind of the last of their V8 muscle cars. This is a well-equipped with a long list of standard features. Alcantara upholstered seats, carbon fiber interior trim, adaptive cruise control and navigation. But it's largely an appearance package. But it's going to have the shaker hood again and the 392 engine and shakedown graphics, Brembo brakes, and 20-inch wheels and tires.
Cool.
Nice.
So that's the first one. They got 5 more to go.
Well, speaking of Dodge, Dodge believes there's an opening in the compact crossover segment that can speed through with its upcoming Hornet, even if the muscle car brand seems out of step with someone who buys a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V. Brotherhood of Muscle is going to continue on. The Hornet RT plug-in hybrid variant, Dodge's first electrified vehicle, when it arrives early next year, will surpass 285 horsepower while generating 383 pound-feet of torque. The Power Shot feature can supply an extra 25 horsepower burst on demand at 15-second intervals, which I thought is pretty cool. It's kind of like the push-to-pass feature on an
IndyCar.
An IndyCar. And it's going to go under $30,000. They've had more than 14,000 pre-orders on the first day it became available.
So it's going to qualify, if it's made in the United States, for the $7,500.
Well,
Cool.
Do we say? Does he say where it's going to be built? I don't see that in the story. But at any rate,
That would be-
Dodge is making some noise.
Yeah, that would be interesting because that drops it
A
down to
whirring noise.
22.5.
Worrying noise.
Well, this is a hybrid, so but with a little 4-cylinder in it, that actually piques my interest.
Well,
lot of
but like I
things
say, if you can get that 7,500, now you're looking at 22.5.
Yeah.
And then Chevrolet is going to halt Corvette production because of supply chain issues.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah.
It ain't
All right.
so.
Time now for a quick break. We're right back. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio.
Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Lupi's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Lupi trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Hey, and don't forget, that's only a few weeks away, so be sure and mark that on your calendar, the Tailpipes and Tacos event.
Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
Oh, Lord. What else? It's the highly edited In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we hope to talk to Valerie Thompson. Don't know if that's going to happen. She's the world's fastest motorcycle racer. Maybe she's racing across the country and can't really talk.
She's speeding to get here.
I think she said she's having internet issues as she's on the move.
Hey, I had a chance to drive the new 2022 Buick Envision. You say, what?
Huh?
I'll give you my thoughts on it. We'll also have the cruise-in calendar. And later, Conrad has This Week in Auto History, and ought to be a good one. Mm-hmm. Just ahead on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to have you along with us. It's been kind of a smooth morning so far.
Some very good interviews.
Exactly. You've always said that to us. Now, don't you start.
All right.
Some very good interviews.
You know,
this
you had
morning.
mentioned something about vehicles with items that no longer exist on it that came from the factory. Well, automakers are caught in another conundrum. I like that word.
Oh, I do too.
Conundrum of whether to quickly adopt new technologies that risk increased complaints from car buyers when they don't work as expected. This according to a J.D. Power study. The story from
That's the
Automotive
Karen
News.
option.
The Karen, that's right. Consumers routinely punish automakers in quality ratings for car technology not meeting expectations, needless to say. But consumers will credit automakers when innovations are properly executed, according to J.D. Power. Based on the results of its annual U.S. Tech Experience Index study. Tech Experience Index study.
They have a study for everything.
Millennials.
This happened Thursday. J.D. Power said, ease of use is crucial for the acceptance and adoption of new automotive technologies. The survey also found auto dealers play a key role in ensuring car buyers understand and use the latest innovations.
By training the owner how the feature works, like you absolutely hate the touchpad.
Hate it.
Hate the touchpad.
Or leather seats.
Well, no, yeah, but leather seats isn't
That's
something.
an option.
That's not technology. But Don just doesn't like the touchpad because it takes your eyes off the road. You're not only looking at the pad, you're also looking at the screen.
But once
to
you get
figure out
used
where
to
the
it,
hell-
you really don't look at the pad so much. But now you've got to play with the mouse that appears on the thing and get the mouse where it needs to be, hit that, and then scroll through all of the menus. That's it. Just
Which
doesn't.
is exactly what this is talking about, probably.
But
Correct.
you can't do that while you're driving.
Yeah, some of them you can.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, most
Some
of
of
them
them
you
you
can.
can.
Functionally, they're there.
Because some of the map functions you can't do while you're moving. You have to be stationary.
Not so much anymore.
I know. Well,
However, there is a feature on some of them. Instead of the pad, they have a knob. At least you can, well, kind of. Yeah, you roll it to the left to scroll down. You roll it to the right
Oh,
to
that's
scroll
what
up.
Angela has in her Mercedes.
And then you hit the middle of the knob.
Yep, that's what's in Angie's Mercedes.
That's an okay alternative to the touchpad. I still don't like it because you still have to. It's a whole lot easier to look over there and there's the menu. Hit the home page. There's the menu. Hit radio if you don't have that set up as your home screen, and then touch the button that you've
Touch
already
the
got
screen.
preset for the number that you want. Or, if you're a Sirius XM user and you know where your stations are, it's easy to be able to scroll down there to that station, hit the button, and boom, there you are.
Well, what about, because I imagine within that technology survey they do, what about voice commands? How do
God.
voice commands
That is
come
one
out?
of the most off-the-wall things because there are some cars, you talk to it, it understands.
Yeah.
Other cars, I don't care how well you enunciate the word, it goes, I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
My Ford Sync in that transit van, the audio commands actually work quite well. Now, I had an earlier Cadillac, it was an STS-V series in 2006, that I swear it thought I was from Mars.
It didn't like you.
It didn't understand
Yeah, it
the
didn't
thing
like
I
you.
said,
Yeah.
and I do fairly well enunciate
Now, did
my
you
words.
set it
didn't
up?
understand my cuss words when it wouldn't do. Oh yeah, I set it up. It had you go through a progression of words to set it up.
Right.
And that took probably 20 minutes to do,
I had
and
a-
it still didn't
The
understand.
odd
what
thing
I was
about it is your cell phone, okay? Your Google, let's just use Google. You ask it a question and boom, there it is.
You don't even have to ask it a question. It listens to you and feeds your advertising based on a conversation you had, whether you asked it a question or not.
I had a young man that worked for me. He had a very thick Southern accent, and he would get frustrated every time he would use it because it wouldn't understand him. And we could understand him normally, but the computer and the way it was set up, it just totally blew his mind.
Driving different manufacturers'
Right.
cars every week, get to learn all of these things. And the one thing that's common among them all is there's nothing common about any of them. Some of them you have to scroll through with your voice. Radio. It goes to radio. AM radio. FM radio, Sirius radio. Then you go to, if you want it,
As you step through the pages.
right, and then you have to go to, the channel or the channel name. For instance, Yacht Rock Radio. It's either 311 or Yacht Rock Radio. And that's for that particular car. You go to the next car, it's completely different. It doesn't understand that. If you want navigation, you don't have to say navigation. Just tell it where you want to go. There's no commonality among any of them.
You and Mars have always talked about the one that you like the most is the Dodge.
The Dodge one.
Dodge Ram.
Yeah.
It's the easiest. But I will say this about that, is that, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I think it's still the best. But now that they've added more stuff into it, they've added another layer of complexity that I'm not familiar with. Typically, just like an actual car, they'll hang on to some technology for 3, 4, 5 years, and then they either update it or change it completely. And that's where the confusion lies. For instance, the Hellcat, where it's got the performance
pages.
Oh, my God. And there's so many different layers of the performance page. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? How do you want to set it up? Are you drag racing? Are you autocrossing? All of these different parameters. Now, I work with a guy that's in his early 30s. Man, he can go through that stuff just like that. My youngest daughter,
Yeah, Katie. Just thinking of her.
I remember one car that I had.
Mercedes.
Was it the Mercedes? And she said, "This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen."
But she comes home for Christmas and sets the clock up on your VCR.
Yeah.
Well, so the truck I'm driving now,
Betamax.
it's a Ram 1500 with a big 12-inch screen in it. Now, first time I got in it was this morning to come over here. And the biggest complaint I had, there's a lot of stuff on it, like you say, and the split screen can show you even more. Biggest problem is that big 12-inch screen keeps me awake when I'm driving in the dark. But there is a lot of things you got to go through
when I'm driving, and there's something
you got to go through, and there's just a lot more choices you have to make. And all I wanted was the radio on.
Well, yes, that's
Jimmy Buffett. What station is that on?
24.
Exactly. Because I was listening to Buffett last week.
But it just, it was just, how do I get, and I still haven't found the defroster. Because there was raining most of the way over here, and the windows kind of fogged up a little bit, but I still have not found the defroster in the climate control.
And there's no voice command to that?
Well, I didn't try the voice command. No, I was going through. I found the heated seats and everything else.
I think there's a voice command to that.
And
then, I'll try that on the way home.
And then when you get there, can you adjust with your voice the fan speed?
Or the temperature?
On the Cadillac you could. But it didn't understand my voice. But yeah, you could. That was one of the choices.
So at any rate,
you need to uncover the mouthpiece for the handkerchief to disguise that you use to disguise
my mask, my
Yes.
Fauci mask. Hey, you gotta wear a mask.
a mask. He's from New York.
Hey, alrighty.
The phone emerging tech feature with the highest score. The phone-based digital key was an example of an emerging technology that received high execution scores. Strong preference for having it on their next vehicle is driven by the positive user experience they had with the technology in their current vehicle, according to the man who was interviewed for the story. On the other hand, the study found fingerprint reader features
touchpad
were the lowest performing technologies. They logged more than 54 problems per 100 vehicles. Yet automakers are introducing more biometric features such as fingerprint, facial, and voice recognition to personalize and unlock vehicles, start the engine, and authorize payments.
Hey, unlock my car and make the payment. Guido.
I like that idea.
Tony Two Thumbs is going to show up for payment.
Finny Three Fingers.
The study demonstrates how dealers can improve the ownership experience by spending more time educating customers.
For sure.
Remember, you used to buy a new car, drive out with it, nothing. I mean, bye, they waved at you at the door. See you later.
Or some type of gimmick with it being a gong or ring a bell.
Now you got to go to class.
And again, back to Angela and her Mercedes. After she bought the vehicle, they sent her home with it, but they did schedule her for a 45-minute class, which is a one-on-one class with a product expert
Yes.
who explained how some of the features worked on the truck, but still not all of
But
them.
it was on her specific vehicle.
It sat in her car and
Yeah, see,
explained
that's the
how
way you
some
do
of
it.
those
A to
things
Z.
worked. Yeah.
I knew the Chevrolet dealer down there, Larry. He'd have kind of a class. They'd sell the new cars and they just schedule it. Okay, on Thursday night at 6:00 we're going to do this. And there may be 5 people in there, and there may be 10 people, depending on how many people show up. But they did not sit
If you
down.
gave away a TV, more people would show up.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, well, I
I used
think
to
of that.
Door prize.
car
Yeah.
clinics. Classic Chevrolet, we used to hold car
Yep.
clinics, and I used to be part of that with the tire segment of it. They get new buyers in, and they tell you about the car as a group. Now, as Conrad
Yes.
said, it's a one-on-one.
Yeah, that on hers it was the product specialist sat in Angela's car with her and had Angie do all the touching of the buttons
Right.
and the rotation, but that was the rotate the knob and push it up and down for the page selection. So Angie's very comfortable with that, but there's probably half of the stuff that truck does she still doesn't know.
It's
Or
just
doesn't
like-
want to use.
It's just like the $1,200 VCR that I bought had so much stuff on it that you could play it back, you could edit videos on it, you could do all sorts of things on the thing that I never
12,
used.
12.
That's right, twice a day. Now your TV does that. You got all kinds of functions on your TV rather than a VCR.
Yeah, the smart TV, and the TV's smarter than the person with the remote.
It's watching you. We're watching you.
Nope, I think that's a good survey, but I think they need to understand the differences car to car, brand to brand, and break that out by this brand who has the RAM feature versus this brand that has the touchpad feature.
Yeah, but there are so many variations. I don't know how
Exactly.
you can put all
and
that
that's-
together.
That would be
If
that
you-
would make
if
it
you're going to
difficult.
buy a car with technology in it, you need to have the product specialist sit there. Like when we used to go on the car junkets, the manufacturers would have us go and they'd do some presentation about a new car that was coming out. And part of that, I'll never forget, Ford did that at the Texas Truck Rodeo one year when they came out with the new sync system, and which was the
Somebody walked you through sync.
yeah. And we sat in the car with them, and we got to touch the buttons, do this. Nope, you got to go back. Here's how to go back. And do the one-on-one thing and educate you that way, as opposed to me reading the instructions.
And nobody,
Or generally not reading. What does this button do? What does this
Be-
button
believe
do?
me, through the years I worked for GM, you could open up a glove box and the owner's manual had never been disturbed.
Correct.
And 99% of the vehicles. Then you'd get that one geek that read everything and understood things, and something didn't work right, and they needed that fixed.
The Kia EV6, which I'm driving this week. which
Good
I'll-
looking.
Yeah, it is nice looking.
It is nice
Yeah.
looking. And it's very interesting to look at it from the front end because the front fenders on it stick out further than the rest of the
Like
car.
a wide body, yeah.
But then it comes back in,
Slopes.
kind of like the old
Citroen.
Citroen. Yes.
Hourglass.
Yeah.
The shape of a woman's
And,
body.
and the other thing I like is the tail light goes all the way across, and it's almost like a wing on the back of it.
Yes, it is.
That would be
it-
an angel. The woman's body would be an angel with a wing on her back. Sorry.
Neither one of
I
y'all know
digress.
anything about that. I don't know why you're even going there.
Angels
Yes,
with
you
wings.
do know why. Because you know that was about to roll right off the tracks. You know that.
Yes.
You saved us, Mike.
But
Again,
I looked in the glove box to get the Monroney out of it, and the owner's manual in that thing, it's like a phone book. It's that thick.
Au contraire, we got our new phone book at our house, and it's like 6 pages.
Well, it came in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it came
and
out.
some vehicles don't even come with an owner's manual anymore.
I
They
know.
come with a thumb drive, or they come
owner's
with a
ma-
QR.
Well, either that, or if you want to, right in your infotainment system, there's the owner's
Correct,
manual.
correct.
And all you do is just tell it what you want to
Yep.
look for. Where is the
Ooh, I haven't
charge
seen that.
port door?
Yeah.
I get
And
to where it
how do I
says
put the
300
spare tire
pages
on?
on my phone, and I'm not reading
Does this take
300
diesel
pages.
or gas?
Is it diesel or gas on the EV? Yeah, there's that. Okay.
So you
Love
said
this.
that came without a power cable.
It's got the handle and the actual plug, but there's no big thick cable on it to plug it in with. What is that?
What is it, Bluetooth?
No,
Bluetooth charger.
it's
Mike.
crazy. I'll show it to you. It's just the handle. That's it.
Is it cut off?
There's no cord on it. It's like
So you're going to Whole Foods sometime today?
not today, but I will probably tomorrow. Yeah, with the fast charger,
Charge me up. So
If you go down to the Walmart, it's even faster.
or better yet, go to the airport where I work. They got a free fast charger where I work.
Ooh.
Hello.
Are they really lined up to
So
use
we
it?
talk about the Golden Triangle being a bit a bit behind.
What?
There by the Papados on Walden and I-10.
Yes.
They're putting in 12 Tesla DC fast chargers.
On that concrete slab next to it?
No, across the street next to the Subway Deli.
Well, I sent you a picture of the ones in San Francisco, all the fast chargers, and they've got homeless tents in between them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Amazing.
nobody parked in front of them.
Those aren't self-serve. You got to pay the homeless guy $1 to plug
And
in.
he'll clean your windshield while he's at it. But that's how they stay warm from the heat off of the charger.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I find that hard to
Amazing.
believe.
Thank you, Gavin Newsom.
Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com.
Yep. Subscribe right now.
Let's do the car review this hour, shall we?
Okay.
The 2023 Buick Envision. And I'm just going to tell you right up front, I really like this car.
My sister has a 2022.
Same car.
Loves it.
Available trim levels are Preferred, Essence, and Avenir. I had the
Avenir.
It's a small SUV. How many passengers? 4, plus the driver, which would be 5. Exterior changes from last model year. It was redesigned in 2021. A posh blend of chrome trim and accents adds to the base trims to give it an upscale appearance. The dark maroon color that I had adds to that.
Oh,
rich-
very much so. It was
adds to
gorgeous.
that rich look. It was. I'm not a maroon guy, and I never would think that I really would like a Buick as much as I like this one. My dad was a Buick guy, and the big floaty 55 Buick
yeah.
Special 3.
I had one.
yeah.
This ain't none of
With
that.
the bullet grill.
Tail and headlights placed high, front and rear. Preferred trim level gives it a sporty look. They got black wheels on it and not a lot of
Blackout
chrome
trim.
trim. Yeah, kind of. What I liked about it was the shape of it. I thought that they did an excellent job in stamping the steel on this particular
Because
vehicle.
it looked bigger than it really was
And let me tell you something. It actually had rear seat legroom for me at 6'1"
in the back.
in the second row. It doesn't have a third row. Thank God. Interior highlights. We had the upscale perforated and quilted leather. Wow. Beautiful.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Center console had everything needed to go all in the right place.
You wrote that.
I wrote that.
You can't read it, but you wrote it.
I can't read my writing.
Neither
Split
can we.
center armrest was easy to access the contents below in the center console. Integrated infotainment screen melds into the instrument cluster. It's one of those things that goes all the way across. Cargo trunk room, smaller than competitors, but adequate for me. I thought it was perfect. What I liked about it, almost everything. What could use improvement? The volume knob is kind of hard to get to because it's tucked up underneath the dash pad a little bit too tight up there. You got the steering wheel controls. I'm just complaining.
Yeah, if something.
What about the powertrain?
2.0 liter turbo inline 4-cylinder that has 228 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque.
That's pretty good.
But it has a 9-speed automatic transmission that you can't tell if it shifts or not. I mean, it's that smooth. And with that little power, well, it's a substantial vehicle for a small one. It works real well in combination. They did their homework.
It knows
on this.
what gear to be in when it's doing whatever it's doing.
It doesn't hunt. Tow rating 1,500 pounds for a small
so you're
little
not gonna tow
garden
with that.
trailer. Miles per gallon city, it's rated at 23, highway 31 for a combined at 26. I got 27.9 miles per gallon.
Not bad.
Over 358.
That's pretty good for that size of a vehicle.
It really is. What I liked about it, the adequate power and fuel mileage combined. What could use improvement? A 300 horsepower Wildcat power plant.
Oh.
As an option.
Or a full EV, 800 horsepower.
Tub it
That too.
out.
That too, and you know that's in the works.
Tub it, baby.
Ride and handling, what I liked about the smoothness of the ride, it
Buick.
wasn't floaty,
Buick.
but boy, it was nice. And a quiet cabin. It is really good. It's a GM car, and it's a Buick.
My sister
Nice.
absolutely loves it, and she's had GM her whole life, and she really loves this.
I'm telling you, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of I guess it was somewhere around 2000. I bought one of the original Lexus RX 300s.
Oh, yeah.
The little egg. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of that.
Just the ride quality and
Everything about it. The ride quality, the size of it, the comfort level, the luxury. Now, this is not a luxury vehicle. by any stretch
at
of
a
it.
Buick, though, it is.
What we call near luxury.
It
Yeah.
reminded me of an XT4, the size of it, to me personally.
And it's not.
No,
It is not a
it's
shared
not.
platform.
No.
The Envision is its own platform,
Right.
all unto itself.
Ride and handling, smoothness, and the quiet cabin is what I really liked. What could use improvement? I'm just dreaming stuff up now. Adjustability? Why? It's already all there. You don't need anything more. This is not a race car. This is a nice, everyday
Grocery
drive-through,
getter.
yeah, well, you take this
It's
on
a
the
high-level
highway.
Yeah.
grocery getter,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not an off-roader,
No,
even though
no.
all-wheel drive is available.
Available.
Base trim price, $39,850. Price as tested. Now, this is the top of the line Avenir that's loaded up, $45,305. But the
Wow.
base model price, $31,700.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. Competitors, Mazda CX-5, $26,700. Acura RDX, $40,000. And Volvo XC60, $43,000.
Well, I would think those are good competitors. The Acura RDX, that is a good choice of a competitor because it's a luxury small SUV.
Right. Now, the price that I gave, that's the entry-level price for the Acura RDX. Entry-level price on the Buick is $31,700.
Right.
That's almost $8,000 savings there. I'm telling you, if I were going to
You liked it.
if I were going to offer up something for you to go see if you're in the market for a small SUV, I would
That's the
say
one.
go see that Buick.
What's the cubic
Well,
feet
you
on?
often kind of like.
I don't know what the cubic feet is in the back because I don't use that figure. Huh?
You didn't see how many cubes you could put in there?
No.
I didn't. I don't
Would,
care.
would Monty fit?
Not Monty would not
You
fit.
got to fold Monty
But
up.
you could tow a trailer with
you
Monty.
could easily with the back seat up. You could easily put a whole weekend of luggage in there, and I'm serious. It's really nice. And if you fold the back seats down, then there's a ton of room in there.
Yeah.
It's,
I was gonna
to
say-
me personally, it's a great size vehicle, and it's well put together.
And good fuel economy at
and good-
27.
yeah, exactly.
And it's almost priced in the range of maybe not a starter vehicle, but something to move up to from a starter vehicle.
Yeah, or start there.
Yeah.
It's a great one to start with.
Yeah, but you've always kind of leaned towards the Buicks.
I don't know why either. And
Yeah.
I know
It's
that-
your dad.
Well, no, it's not.
You're becoming your
It's writ-
dad.
No, well, there's that.
But your dad had a passion for Buicks. That was kind of his favorite cars. Believe me, there is an impact on that throughout
Well,
the
there
sure there
is,
is.
but still, it's there's
Psychosomatic.
something about those cars. I mean,
Psycho, at least.
the last, or even my mother-in-law's, it was a nice
Oh, here
driver.
we go
It was
with your
just
mother-in-law again.
Yeah, but styling-wise, it was just very plain. You know, it was a.
This one is not that.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I'm
no,
saying. It was just
The interior was stunning.
to me that was the thing that kind of turned some people off the Buick was the styling on it. Either you loved it or you didn't.
It was nerdy looking.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
But this one isn't.
absolutely not.
Yep.
No, they've done a really remarkable job on it.
Yeah, I think-
and you know, Buick gets high marks in quality
Yeah. Oh, very much so.
right out of the factory. And
And
there's
it-
not a lot of people that take their Buick back. Oh, well, I got a rattle here or a rattle there. No, none of that.
Yeah, Swellens is the essence.
And you know, it's so funny because GM can build a great vehicle like this and then turn around and build just a big pile of doo-doo.
Big pile of doo-doo.
I don't understand that. What is that? Please explain that to me.
It's the doo-doo emoji.
Is that a trim level?
Yeah, it's the
pile of
doo-doo emoji.
cloth doo-doo?
I,
Not leather doo-doo. Hey, who said this? What famous person said this? You can have any color you like as long as it's black.
Henry Ford.
Okay, very good. Who said this? Take it easy driving. The life you save may be mine. James Dean.
Oh, that was a poor choice of words.
Here, and he said that just before he died. Here's one. If you're in,
Oh, my beer! I ain't ever had a wreck like this.
if
I
you're
gotta call my wife.
if you're in control, you're not going fast enough. Who said
Carol
that?
Shelby.
Parnelli Jones.
Okay. Carol Shelby said it's never about track. It's never about too much horsepower. It's always about a lack of traction or something to that effect.
Yes.
In effect, yeah. Okay.
Jeff has been studying.
Speaking of Jeff, did you see where Jeff Gordon is going to come out of retirement and race the Indy 500 road course?
Yep. And I think
saw
he's
him.
also going to come back and do some IMSA racing.
I saw some video of him getting in a big, ugly fight. I mean, a fisticuffs. I would have never thought Jeff Gordon.
This
would
is
get
back
a-
in the day.
Back in
Oh,
the
he
day
had
when
a couple
was
of
winning.
fights.
Did the girl win?
That's what I was thinking, but no, that wasn't.
No, he had a couple of fights back in the
Yeah,
day.
I was impressed. Go, Jeff.
Got
I
to
think
put,
he and Keselowski kind of duked it out one time.
put his purse down to drive.
The In-Wheel Time Car Show streams on the iHeartRadio app and Facebook,
Wish I
YouTube,
had
and
his
InWheelTime.com. 30-minute podcast available from your favorite podcast provider. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Lupi's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rod, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Lupi trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In-Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In-Wheel Time Car Talk.
Howdy. Who used to sing that or say that?
She had to have with a tag.
Price tag on it.
Yeah.
Mini Pearl.
Mini Pearl. Thank you very much. This is the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we're going to have This Week in Auto History. This is Conrad's half hour, okay?
All right.
This Week in Auto History, we're going to have the cruise-in calendar.
Do we have to stay?
And we're also going to get you updated on the stories making car news this week.
Please leave.
So that's what we've got coming up in this segment of the show. And we got plenty of news.
Always.
But let's do the cruise-in calendar
So
because
the biggest one everybody needs to prepare for is Tailpipes and Tacos, and
Yes.
that's on the 17th of September.
so that is 3 weeks from today.
And it's 8 to 11.
And
at
we'll be
Lupe
there.
Tortillas at Grand Park.
better be.
We'll be there. They give away. They're giving away
The
3
Chili Pepper
awards.
trophies.
The Chili Pepper trophies, and that's the 3 awards are Best Classic, Best Modern,
Classic.
and Best Hot Rod.
Yep.
So pretty cool. Very cool award though too.
We need one to display here in the studio.
Okay.
Well, because I'll forget. So when you see Stan, then you need to put in a request. Would you give us one to display?
Yeah.
And then
Absolutely.
Saturday, September 3rd, is the Chick-fil-A in Magnolias having their first annual Fast Cars and Freedom Car Show. Monday, September the 5th, Labor Day Monday, the 3rd annual Car and Bike Show in Rosenberg on Commercial Drive. And then September the 10th, the 5th annual Car Show at Lake Church. So also September 10th is Feed the Bug Show for all you Volkswagen fanatics.
Yes.
Out there at El Jardin Beach. Hot Rod Madness is at the Rock Sports Bar and Grill off of Loetta, and that is October 9th, starting at 8 a.m. October 16th, starting at 9 a.m. is the Mustang Club of Houston Fall Open Car Show at Planet Ford.
Oh.
Planet Ford is the Ford dealer that sponsors the Mustang Club of Houston, so they always have a big show there every year, and that is a good show to go to.
Did you happen to mention Chrome and Coffee?
Chrome and Coffee is next Sunday at Avalon Diner.
Yep.
What a great spot that is. Easy on and
that
off
is
the highway.
That's a growing cruise-in.
Yeah.
Is it?
Every month it gets more and more. And the nice thing about it is you go in there and have breakfast.
Yeah.
And
Good breakfast.
I will save a parking spot for you and your Oles next Sunday.
I probably won't be there, but you can save me a spot.
so what are the
'Cause I
plans?
sleep in.
What
I
are the
sleep
plans for the Oldsmobile?
Since it is your half hour.
It take me more
We
than a
can
half hour
fix
to
it in
explain
30 minutes.
no. Well, I mean, you got a half hour.
Just need to take the time to fix it. It's just a matter of taking the time to do it.
but
It's
you have
not
to
a matter-
pull the steering column out of it.
Yeah, which means I got to get under it. So I'm going to take it to a shop to do it. Then Tim was the one who worked on it before, and actually this is a new steering column, so I'm a little upset with the company that made it because it didn't last 2 years.
Well, is it with the key in the column?
Yeah, well, it's the
locking.
The key rotation device works fine. It's the rack and the rod that goes down to the ignition switch, and I don't know if the problem is because it rotates a gear, and that's what pushes the rod down to the ignition switch. So I don't know if my problem is down in the switch or if it's in the rack somewhere.
Well,
And it's a tilt wheel, so it's a little more complicated.
is it built like a GM?
Yeah. It takes GM parts to fix it.
I see.
But, I bought a $1,000 steering column for this, and it didn't work for 2 years. It didn't work after 2 years.
Yeah,
so
that's BS.
I've already written them, and the warranty was a year. I'm like, okay. Might have been a year, but I doubt it was used 20 times.
I know.
So, oh well.
There is another Oldsmobile that does go out there.
I have a record driver.
I have Haggerty Insurance. I've got the record covered,
Okay.
but haven't used it.
Do you need Mike to crawl up under there? He'll take a look at it.
Yeah, I'll crawl up under there and look at it.
Will you?
I'll even take pictures.
Cool.
We just got to dig.
all I'm gonna
we
do.
just got to dig it out of the garage. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
No, it's easy to get in and out of the garage.
Is it?
Yep.
You push it in and
All
out.
there air in the
all it
tires?
has- yeah. All it has is a cover on it.
There's not a bunch of junk laying all over the top.
No.
of it?
I don't pile crap on it.
It's all in the trunk.
It's all in the trunk in the back seat.
It's all
to?
inside the trunk.
Inside the trunk.
Do you even
There's
know?
not a bunch of junk inside the car either.
do
It's
you
all
do you
in the
remember
trunk.
what's in the trunk?
Yeah,
Junk.
Yes, the old steering column's in the trunk, the spare tire, the jack.
What about looking
The-
at that old steering column to see if those parts are relatable to the new one?
That's probably a good point. The only
might have
problem
that
with them
part
is
right
they're
there.
50 years old.
Right in front of you.
Maybe so. That's a good idea.
Parts aren't that expensive. I've already looked them up.
Okay.
You're a pretty good dancer. You danced her all around this thing.
He did, didn't he? He's
It's
been
not
dancing.
gonna- It's not going to be there next
When's
time.
the last time the thing ran? 2 years ago.
It's more like a clogger.
Probably October 2 years ago. I think the last.
Well, what
Yeah.
event did we go to? The rally that we went on a cruise with you.
Yeah, that might have been the last time
Yeah.
I drove it. when
No,
we did
because
that.
I don't think COVID was in place then.
No,
No,
when we did the forest when we did the forest rally.
Right.
Yeah,
We drove up to the state park.
because we took your vet and then your Oles.
Yep. That was a
that
fun
may have
trip.
been the last time I drove it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very fun trip on my 10-year-old tires.
You know what you need to do?
Because that's part of the other thing is the tires are now probably 12 years old, so it needs a set of tires. There isn't anything wrong with the tires other than they've aged out.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad said the same thing whenever I told him, Dad, your tires are way past, they've
6 years.
expired.
I still got lots of tread on them.
Well, that's exactly what he said. He said, and they're not worn out yet.
Well,
So I've got to put a set of tires on it as
I
well.
would like to offer, if I may, an invitation to go with me again down to the Hot Rod Tour of Texas. That's what is that? April,
March.
May,
I think it was March last year.
whatever
March
it
or
was.
April.
Yeah, go on that. You will have an absolute ball.
They're still posting information.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I kid you not. That was probably one of the best car events that I've ever been on.
Is there anywhere or any way that we could do a remote?
No.
That way we could all go down there? They don't
Yeah, but
stay in
we
one
could
place.
have Sparkman back on.
Well, yeah,
Maybe have
we're
him
going to
and
do
Woody
that.
on at the same time.
But
Do what?
Have
wanna
him
ha-
and Woody on at the same time.
I want to
Yeah.
have.
yeah, but they just don't stay in one place long enough, do they?
No.
I mean, that's what we talked about last time with him. It just they're gone.
That's what it's all about, though.
Yeah.
It was a road trip that we started off down there in Victoria, and that morning
Drove to Shiner.
Ainsley has a van. We could all hop in his van. In fact, we saw him leaving the restaurant last night. He pulled up next to us at a light. Kathy was flabbergasted that a young man's driving a minivan.
And it was Angel.
Blew her mind, yeah.
He loves that thing.
Yeah,
he
it's
took
nice.
it all the way up there to the UP
Is that a
Michigan.
Sienna?
Yeah.
No, it's an Odyssey.
Honda Odyssey.
Yeah.
It's a
When
great-
we had ours,
bought
I
it
mean,
from
we
Emmons.
loved it because it was. I mean, not only could we put all the kids in it and the grandkids when they came along, but we were doing a lot of freelance work. The back would open up and there was shade and there was
Emmons Motorplex.
all the equipment.
Yep.
Yeah, and the thing only had like 30,000 miles on it.
Oh,
It
they had
was
less than
brand
that.
new.
Yeah. And it's
I
got a
haven't
hell of
really
a deal.
followed where they are with what's going on in racing. I always look for them at the national events.
Well,
but I
we're
don't
going to
look at
talk
the
to them
locals.
after the Indy event.
Okay.
They
Well,
want- they wanted to wait
My
till
guess
after that.
is that they're there in Indy this weekend.
Yeah, because
Oh, I
Indy's
would-
coming up.
They would definitely be at Indy. I'm sure all of them are
The
at Indy.
big go.
Yeah, that's whenever I talked to them 2 weeks ago. They wanted to wait until after Indy.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause
that'd be good because they could display their trophies and things. Yeah,
The
absolutely.
dancing Wally.
Yep, the moving Wally. Absolutely.
All right. We did the cruise-in calendar, and I was going to kind of bump things up a little bit here,
Okay.
if that's okay with you boys. I would like to do the This Week in Auto History.
Yes.
Sure.
I got it all queued up.
Because, a lot of people don't really, they'll listen to the first part of the show, then they tune out in the second part of the show.
Sort of like us.
That's right. like we always do, week in and week out. So let's talk about This Week in Auto History.
In 1897,
I was there.
Ransom Eli Olds
Oh,
of
of
Lansing,
course.
Michigan, founded Olds Motor Works, which later became Oldsmobile. The Curve Dash Oldsmobile was the first American car to be produced on a progressive assembly line system,
What's a progressive?
a moving assembly
Yeah.
line.
Oh, I thought Henry Ford did that.
No, he was the first mass-produced vehicle. The first moving assembly line was Oldsmobile.
Okay.
So, okay.
And then in 1901, Cadillac, named after the 18th century French explorer, the founder of the city, by Henry Leland, former mechanic and precision machinist for Ford. He founded Cadillac.
He got ticked off at Ford.
Exactly, exactly.
Fired.
Well, he had an engine that he had proposed to Henry, and Henry said no, so he took that engine and started Cadillac.
Good
Yeah.
for him.
And look where Henry's at today.
Dead.
And look where Leland is. He went from Cadillac, and then he went to Lincoln. So he didn't do bad for himself either.
That was before Henry bought Lincoln.
Correct. In 1909, in front of some 12,000 spectators, automotive engineer Louis Schweitzer wins the 2-lap, 5-mile inaugural race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Can you imagine going there just to watch them drive around that thing twice versus 200 times of the 500
you
mile
got to figure
race?
how fast were they going.
True.
It may have taken them just about as long.
And since this is we need more Jeff. In 1945 this week, the last Cadillac-built M24 tank was produced.
I want one.
Ending the company's World War II efforts. Civilian auto production virtually ceased after the attack on Pearl Harbor, and the U.S. automotive industry turned to war production. Between 1940 and 1945, automotive firms built almost $29 billion worth of military materials.
That's beautiful.
Including jeeps, trucks, machine guns, carbines, helmets, aerial bombs, planes, and tanks. And in 1958, the last Packard was produced.
Never was a big Packard fan.
No, and then Packard was actually bought by Studebaker, and then a couple of the names were carried on, but yeah, the last Packard was produced.
Nice tailpipe tips. I like it.
In 1967, AMC jumps into the pony car market with the Javelin, which I thought was a cool car, and the AMX even more so, but I don't think it ever really took off the way it could have. And then in 1973...
Wolfman Jack. X-E-R-D.
Oh, this is Wolfman Jack Show, baby. Hope all you people taking down all your pictures, because we're going to be playing some of that bounce off the wall music, baby.
See you later, alligator.
Well, I saw my baby walking.
All right.
So 50 years ago, American Graffiti was released.
Sweet.
Think about that. 50 years ago, it was American Graffiti was finally released. And if you think about, what was your favorite car?
Look
in
at
American
Ron Howard today compared to what it was back in...
Well, and you think about some of the actors that were in American Graffiti. Ron Howard, Harrison Ford, Richard Dreyfuss, Cindy Williams...
Suzanne Summers,
Mackenzie Phillips, Wolfman Jack, Francis Ford Coppola actually had a part in the show. Bo Gentry, Johnny Weissmuller Jr. was in it, not Tarzan, but his son. He was in it. Joe Spano. Now you'd know who Joe Spano is if you saw him. You wouldn't know. I don't know if you'd know his name. But some pretty. Kay Lenz was in. There was some super uber famous people that were in American Graffiti, got their start there. So pretty good movie.
We saw that at the drive-in at the Hot Rod Power Tour, and I have to tell you, I don't know whether I hadn't seen it in decades, and I watched it and I thought,
did you tear up?
Not at all. It's kind of lost its shimmer, its shine. It just. It's almost not relatable today. I know. I can't believe it either.
Because of the storyline or the quality of the picture?
No, not the quality. I think the storyline is weak in it. But remember, I think that the attraction to that movie was that nobody had done a movie like that.
Right.
And it was nostalgia. And think of the people that they were appealing to. People that were like my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And it was portraying Modesto, California, back in the very early 60s, late 50s.
They need American Graffiti Transformers movie.
No, thank you. We don't need...
Or, something like that.
The music was great.
Vin Diesel in it.
Yeah, the music was very good because I love that era of music. And then in 1991, if you remember, Mazda Motor Corporation introduced the luxury car market with the Amati. You remember that? The
Vaguely.
Mazda Amati, this thing. When you think of other Toyota introduced Lexus, Honda introduced Acura, Infiniti is a brand of Nissan, and Mazda Amati never went anywhere.
No, I think I might have seen one or two.
Yeah,
it was a
brand that flopped.
Yeah, it was the turd emoji.
Where other luxury brands of the Japanese imports flourish to this day. This one was just a total flop.
It's not much different than the Toyotas of the day, the luxurious Toyotas of the day.
Yep. Oh, well, true. So that is this week in automotive history.
Well, that was a good
Some
one.
pretty good ones.
Liked
Some
it.
pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
The story of American Graffiti, I think, is great. The people who made a name for themselves and became something.
It moves slow. It's a slow moving movie.
So what was your favorite car in American Graffiti?
Oh, the 32 Ford.
Yes.
No, the 55.
The Milner
Me.
Coupe.
Yeah.
See, and I'm the 58 Impala, the white with the red stripe on
You know,
it.
I never
thought
liked
that
the
was-
58 Impala.
It was a 1 year only car.
You know that
Yeah,
car is
yeah,
back
although
on
that
the
is
show
good.
circuit.
Is it?
Yeah.
The actual car
The
is?
actual car, and it had been ragged out to no end. Somebody bought it from the movie company and drove it.
Yeah.
They used it. It was ragged out. Whew.
I thought that was such a cool car.
You like the 58 Chevrolet?
I like it too, but I would prefer the hot rod of the 55.
Oh, absolutely.
And wasn't the 55 was that kind of went through a few movies, didn't it?
Yeah.
We learned that with the guy at Ferrari versus Ford. Is that car? What was his
It was
name?
Project
with
X.
Yeah, it was with the singer.
no.
What's his name? Guitar player, singer, was in it.
Two-lane blacktop
Yeah,
with James
that's it.
Taylor.
Yep,
James Taylor.
I don't
That's
know.
it.
I don't know. Did Project X, was that a Project X car?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I know that Project X was in Lawrence of
boy.
Hollywood Nights.
Stardom on this.
He started himself.
He's a self-starter.
He's a
I am
self-starter.
a self-starter.
And apparently can finish himself, too.
Oh,
Mars just said
I
that?
did. He
Is
did.
Becky
yeah.
listening?
No,
no,
probably
she's not.
How do you know that? She's
not
listening
on the
she's-
list.
She's
Becky.
listening to the
Jerry
podcast.
Emmons is watching. Hi, Jerry. We were just talking about you guys.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we need to get him back on.
Well,
we need
that's
to
where we are after
yeah.
Indy.
So, when he comes back from Indy.
They will lights out Indy. We know they're going to have a good Indy.
Yeah.
Mike could go to Indy and interview him at the track.
Ooh.
Zhao Lang Zhang.
What?
Name that rolls off the tip of your tongue. Zhao Lang Zhang, a former Apple engineer, pleaded guilty to trade secret theft. One of two people accused of stealing trade secrets from the iPhone maker's nascent self-driving car program. U.S. prosecutors have alleged that Zhang downloaded the plan for a circuit board for Apple's self-driving vehicle after disclosing his intentions to work for a Chinese autonomous car startup and booking a last-minute flight to China. Way to go. He was arrested at the San Jose airport after he passed through a security checkpoint. Busted.
Do you know the way to San Jose?
Apparently.
Through prison.
Even a class of one. The new Ford Bronco Raptor's beating out the notion of competition. According to early reviews, Ford Motor Company's newest model under the Bronco nameplate is meant to cater to one demographic. The most extreme off-road racing enthusiasts. The Raptor is not hiding its intentions. It's 9.8 inches wider than the base Bronco model, and it comes with a tougher steel frame, shock towers, and axles. 37-inch tires are the largest of any current production SUV, according to Ford. Under the hood, your favorite, the twin-turbo EcoBoost V6 and 10-speed automatic transmission combined to produce 418 horsepower, enough to power to climb mountain rocks and speed through desert sand. A notable feature included to help with high-speed desert runs is Baja mode, which aims to optimize throttle control and torque delivery. The Raptor is cheaper than its closest competitors, Ford's F-150 Raptor and the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392, starting at $70,095 for a Bronco. It may be hard to obtain one, however, as all 2022 models will be delivered to reservation holders. God knows what the markup on that's going to be.
Yeah. So did you see some of the social media posts about replacing a battery in an EV? So can be
10 grand.
No, it was like 24 grand.
Yeah, it was 20s, low 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a Chevy Volt. It was 8 years old, or a little over 10 years
20
old.
grand.
70,000.
How much did the car cost?
Probably about the same. So GMC is saying that or General Motors is saying that the batteries of their new Ultium platform are going to be covered for 10 years or 150,000 miles, whichever comes first, which is a pretty lengthy window. Tesla covers the Model X and S batteries for 150,000 miles or 8 years, but GM says the new Ultium architecture is supposed to go between 150 and 250,000 miles. The question is, when it does come time to replace them, how expensive are they going to be? The Chevy Volt battery pack was over $25,000 to replace.
Wow.
Now, it comes in 3 segments, and that's to replace all 3 segments at once. I would assume each of those segments is somewhere between 8 to
Eveready,
$10,000.
Duracell.
Yeah.
So you're saying that even then, 8 years ago, it was in 3 segments?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because I when I saw that, I was wondering, well, surely it's not the same battery today because of the differences in technology as it was back then. Then that gets into the whole question: how long are you going to be able to get that battery?
Oh, yeah, because they only
can't
have to
even get an
produce-
ABS module for a 3-year-old, 5-year-old.
And the other thing is, it
Don't call me
comes in
Shirley.
3 segments, but if one segment's bad because of time and age, the other 2 segments aren't very far behind.
Right,
So
right,
you're
right.
better off, it's kind of like...
Do the whole thing.
Right.
Ford Motor Company plans to eliminate 3,000 jobs globally this week, according to a letter sent to employees this past Monday and obtained by Automotive News. The automaker is cutting 2,000 salaried positions and 1,000 agency jobs, CEO Jim Farley and Executive Chair Bill Ford said. Affected employees in the U.S., Canada, and India will be informed. The letter said this week the Ford spokesman confirmed the letter as authentic. The cuts are expected across a variety of roles, including purchasing, and are expected to come in both its Ford Blue and Model E divisions. Cuts are also being made at Ford Credit. The company told employees that in addition to eliminating jobs, it's reorganizing and simplifying functions within its organization.
Is that like top-heavy management?
Yes, and Ford is expected to announce the new Mustang. It's going to have a hybrid powertrain,
Right.
And they're expecting to release it September of this year. Still going to have the same look of a Mustang, but the new Mustang, the next generation Mustang, is right around the corner.
We saw one the other day. It was a V6, and it had Borla exhaust on it. It's terrible.
Well, they actually sell a turbo 4-cylinder version of the Mustang.
It was just still sounded terrible.
And then in 2024, Honda Accord Type R. So they're going to have a supercharged engine in a Honda Accord. So they're going to make a hot rod Honda Accord.
Oh, Lord. Are you serious?
Yeah, four-door or two-door?
And then they're going to steal it.
Four-door, of course.
It'll be on the hot sheet list.
Good Lord. 62% of auto borrowers financed used vehicles during the second quarter, up 2 points from the first quarter, and a 4-point increase from a year earlier.
Will they get $10,000 back from
I
Biden?
doubt it. The flight is used vehicles could be seen across all credit tiers, with the largest gain seen in the 77% of near-prime customers financing used models, up 5 points from a year earlier. Experian defines near-prime as customers with credit scores between 601 and 660. Used vehicle buyers financed record amounts during the second quarter, borrowing $28,534, up nearly $4,500 a year earlier. And agreed to record monthly payments of $515, up $75 from a year earlier, according to Experian. They also committed to record loan lengths of 68 months, nearly 2 more months than the terms in the second quarter of 2021 on a used car.
I think they actually offer up to 84, which is what, 6 years? 7 years.
7 years.
7 years.
7 years finance.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about being upside down.
You walk out the door, you're upside down.
Well, yeah, but you're going to be upside down for 6 years.
And we kind of touched on this. Ford is increasing the starting price of the Mustang Mach-E roughly between $3,000 and $8,000 depending on trim, due to rising material costs and supply chain constraints that have wiped out the vehicle's profitability. The cheapest model, the Select rear-wheel drive standard range, will now cost $48,195. it's expensive. But, and by the way, Jeff, Audi will join Formula One starting in 2026 as the Volkswagen Group brand bets it can bolster its business by competing in the popular racing circuit.
Nice.
Audi will build a dedicated F1 powertrain at a facility in Newburgh, Germany, the brand said Friday in a statement. It'll make a decision on which team to partner with by the end of the year. Time now for a quick break. We'll be right back after this quick message.
Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Lupi's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Lupi trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk. Well, that does it for this edition of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Well, it's that time. And I've lost my closing page.
It's all right.
Is it? Yeah, we can ad-lib it, can't we?
Absolutely.
Well, I'm sorry.
Brought to you by all this stuff. Subscribe.
Are you saying something?
He's like the kid at.
I can't hear you.
He's like the kid at after a test. He's got to fold his books up and put his galoshes on and get ready to go.
You took your headset off.
He did. He always does that.
I don't understand. So what's up with that? Anyway, hey, we'll say goodbye for now. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, be sure to subscribe to YouTube. To our YouTube channel. We'll be here next Saturday, 8 to 11.
What? Keep going.
I'm thinking we're on iHeart Radio. You can pick us up on iHeart Radio. We're live right now. You can pick up an instant replay later on this evening and tomorrow and all during the week.
The important thing is subscribe.
Yes.
There are. Yeah.
Monty the singing donkey can subscribe.
Yeah, but what Conrad's saying, Monty's the singing donkey subscribe.
It'd be nice if you had a headset on so we all could hear you. Anyway,
you're done.
That's it for In Wheel Time. For Mike, Conrad, Jeff, I'm Don. See you guys later.
Goodbye.